There's nothing left to see. Anyway.
The 80s have bled all over the place.
There was a lot of bleeding in that show.
What just happened?
Yeah, there was a lot of bleeding in that show, actually.
You've not watched.
I haven't watched anything.
You haven't watched your
Stranger
face.
That's a reference that you'll get once if you ever watch it.
Yeah, if you watch.
I won't remember by then, so it'll be great.
All right. Look at you. All right. Let's look at this outline. All right. It's what is it? Wednesday. Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. I was so disappointed it wasn't Thursday.
What year is this?
2017.
No, I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Because
2019.
Shaq Fu, whatever it's called, certainly makes it seem like it's some other year, according to.
Tony, did you get the email I sent you?
One moment.
Okay. Well, it's it's GameEnthus Podcast episode 382. I'm Aaron, one of the hosts here. Tiny is looking for an email.
Which email did you send it to?
Tiny@GameEnthus.com.
Tiny@GameEnthus.com isn't an email address. Oh, is it? There it is. It just came through.
That was weird. Okay, Mike is here.
Yeah, more or less. Yep, here I am.
And our good friend Slider Wave is back to join us once again, wearing a Batman hat and a Superman t-shirt. Which, if you're listening to this, you can't see it, but sorry.
And Hulk hands.
Yeah, you know what?
Was you sure where that was going?
Yeah, I didn't know. He pulled something from underneath the table. I'm like, all right. It's a children's show, Slider. It's a children's show.
These are innocent Hulk hands.
Innocent Hulk hands.
Anyway,
They look like strong hands, don't they? So what's going on, Slider? We'll give everybody an update on what you've been up to.
I have been trying to keep my job at work, which has been interesting. I think we've passed all our layoffs. And so now I still have my job.
That's good. That's a blessing.
Yes.
As long as you want your job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want my job because every week they put this thing called money in this thing I have called a bank account. And it's really handy to have.
I've heard.
Yep. So, yeah, I've been cashing that check every week and spending it. And then the cycle continues.
Wait a minute. You're cashing checks?
I'm cashing checks I can't really,
Wait a minute. You're taking they're direct depositing money into your account, and then you're cashing.
You're writing checks. You can't. Sorry.
I'm writing checks I can't cash.
Gotcha.
No. Oh.
Yeah.
Because you've spent the money?
Because the money's already spent.
Oh, okay.
I would have loved to have made an Office reference here, but you all don't watch The Office, so.
I watched The Office.
Oh, good. I was gonna. You remember that? Oh, it's now that I've explained it. I've kind of ruined it for myself.
It'll be good, yeah. Please.
Yeah, it'll be real good now.
I gave the camera a Jim look. I guess a little bit.
I don't know what that means. It's fine.
You know who Jim is?
Jiminy. I know Steve Carell was on the show. Rainn Wilson. Ed Helms.
Do you really want to hurt
the guy who's now the dude?
Do you really want to
Tom
make
Clancy
me
stuff?
Cry?
Yeah, that's Jim.
Oh, that's Jim.
Yeah.
The guy who's not supposed to make a sound.
The guy from A Quiet Place, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Which ironically is a prequel to the show.
Exactly.
Wow. How do they get to the Office from that?
Hey, that's called quality writing, my friend.
And the very last scene is, and then everything was fine. Let's all go to work.
Speaking of prequel theories, my friend was telling me that when Han Solo, spoiler alert in Force Awakens, Han Solo falls into the Star Killer base and disappears.
Right.
And then he surfaces years later as Indiana Jones. That's
with robot legs, right?
Well, obviously.
Yes.
But it doesn't make sense because he's older. So, yeah, never mind. Sorry.
He fell into a time Well, no, because he
generation
traveled through time, because then he'd still be old in wherever he landed. He falls through something that de-ages him.
Right. And then he ends up in the future because we live in the future of the Star Wars universe.
Wait, I've got it. He falls through time. He becomes the knight that actually protects the Grail, and then his younger self with his father are the ones, because he needed to be healed, right? So the power of the Grail healed him from his cauterized wound.
And this explains how C-3PO and R2-D2 wound up on that Egyptian wall.
Exactly.
You have chosen wisely.
So, I mean, if we're going to go down this road real quick, I'll go on a side tangent of something I watched this week, how Willy Wonka and Snowpiercer are actually in the same universe.
I've heard something like that before.
What is Snowpiercer?
Snowpiercer is the Chris Evans movie from like 2014, where it's people, essentially the last people to survive on Earth all live on a train that goes around the whole world.
Yes. I remember hearing about that.
Yes. And based on their ticket is like the class system. And
I got a golden ticket.
It's becoming a TV show, so maybe that'll be fun. Interesting. I mean, there are funny things, like funny parallels. Obviously, this is a dumb fan theory that is not true. But like,
not with that attitude.
You get to the front of the train, and the train will run perpetually, but it needs to have an operator, and the operator has to be like very small. And the guy who made the train's like, oh, and that part went extinct. So the person making this video is like, that was an Oompa Loompa. And now they can only use children to replace the Oompa Loompas.
Wow. All right.
But then it ties into Children of Men. It's a whole
Charlie
thing.
and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, Charlie and Chocolate Factory takes place. The 1970. No one cares about.
The Wilderverse.
Yeah, the Wilderverse. So the maker, the guy on the head of the train, the maker of the train, is Charlie.
It's after
he inherited the Wonka, because you remember, like, this is, I can't believe it. So you remember, like, Wonka Factory was self-sufficient. No one came in, no one came out.
Yeah.
Like they were able to. So what if Charlie saw what was happening in Snowpiercer? Humanity dies off because they release this compound into the air that's supposed to help reduce retention of solar energy, so that we can reduce greenhouse effects, but in turn it freezes most of the world, killing off almost everyone.
That doesn't mean it didn't work. It just
it worked. It worked
too
super
well. Yeah.
So
ambitious.
But Charlie saw this happening. He tried to warn them. He didn't. So he had to come up with a way to save humanity. So he came up with a train.
How does this system work again?
Where
it doesn't retain the heat that comes in from the sun.
So, this C244 or whatever is supposed to replace ozone. So it destroys and then replaces ozone.
Oh,
okay. It's still really cold.
They didn't really go into the level of detail.
I'm just saying, it's like if they're like, oh, remove the atmosphere. That's why everything's like it's in outer space, and therefore it would freeze. But that would also kill everybody. So,
but again, you have to deal with tracks and stuff. Like,
somehow this train is able to it busts through ice multiple times during that movie, like. It is a super train that doesn't need to be maintained, which is much like the Wonka factory. So,
what doesn't need to be maintained from the outside?
City out of the stuff that the train's made of.
So, because no one would listen to him or whatever.
Wow.
Again, this fan theory really he also ties all the terrible people you see in that movie to characters from Veruca Salt, for example, works for Charlie now. As an enforcer after he got her blueberried.
Well, that was the Violet.
Didn't she die? The woman who played her die
I think
last
Violet
week.
Died a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Violet, you're turning violet.
Slider Wave, how have you been?
I'm great. Things are great. We're all fine here. How are
you? So what have you been up to, Slider?
Yeah. But better question.
I've been I binged Stranger Things 3,
I did too.
and that's
I did too.
a lot of fun.
I'm
Sure
assuming
we
you'd
can-
seen Stranger Things 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Big fan. I just picked up a Scoops Ahoy T-shirt, so I was pretty happy about that.
So what did you think of Stranger Things 3? Like spoiler-free impressions, I guess.
I thought it was the best of the series so far.
I don't agree with that,
the
but I don't know why you think that.
really?
No, I thought it was
Why
fantastic.
do I think? Yeah. So what did you think was the best of the series?
I guess I never
I'm
really
curious.
compared them. I mean, to me, the first one is like, it made the biggest impression, but they've all been phenomenal. I mean, even though this one sort of, like, if you made it through this and somehow were not aware that it took place in the 80s, I mean, they crammed enough of that stuff down your throat to, like, stop you from breathing. And, I mean, which is fine.
Yeah, my wife turned to me and said, "They made this show for you."
I mean, they really, there was stuff in there, like certain parts, like certain singing is just like, why are we doing this now? Like, what are we doing here?
What, did they let Seth MacFarlane write half of it or something?
It was,
I mean, it's always been referential.
but this time, I mean, it was like Inception levels of references.
The musical number was phenomenal. I just, without giving anything away of what it was, just the musical part.
You owe me $85. Like, it just, they really, I mean, it was great. They really,
I mean, but like what they did to Hooper's character.
Hopper.
it was Hopper,
Hopper.
but yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Like,
Like
in terms of what, like, just his arc. Like,
he's
what?
kind of a terrible person in this, this season.
No, I don't think I don't think he's terrible. I think he's someone who, I mean, imagine if like you just all of a sudden had like a preteen. You wouldn't know what to do.
Just
You'd be clueless.
Remember
But
in
he
the
did
and I
have-
forgot about this. Remember in the first season, you find out he had a daughter.
Yeah, I don't think,
Wasn't it-
but she wasn't a preteen.
No, but
Yeah.
had some experience to this.
That's
It would be different than dropping a child into my house at this moment.
yes,
Right,
but as someone with kids, like it's
Yeah.
like this is a 4-year-old. Here's a two very different human beings.
I think his daughter got to like 10.
And
Not a
she's
preteen.
she's a teenager. They're full on teenagers in this season.
Yeah,
so
that's a whole nother thing.
he's dealing with a teenager in his house, and a teenager with superpowers. So
Yeah.
he is on edge, drinking and going, "Oh my god!" He's just completely agitated.
Who also never had a childhood.
Right.
So you that just compounds the number of issues. Anyway, that's
And it's the 80s.
and it's the 80s, and he was owed $85.
It was always the 80s.
It was oh boy, was it? Even when it wasn't the 80s, it was the 80s.
Always.
Right. If they do it long enough and all the actors are like in their mid 20s, they'll be like, it's 87 now.
Yeah, it's
Has to still be the 80s.
I was telling my daughter they should make a Goldberg Stranger Things crossover. It would be
that would be
awesome.
the show. I never saw. I thought you meant the wrestler.
No, the
I'm
Goldberg
thinking the
released in
wrestler.
19 so
Oh,
if they somehow cross paths, it would be
31611.
great.
I don't know what are we doing here? So
yeah. It was a
But
good
now-
season though. It was really good. I just hope. I know they're not going to do this. I just want them to end it. Just end on a really high note and just let it go.
there's literally
But they won't.
there's
I think they
something
got
at the end that
one more-
doesn't
But
support that idea.
But even with that, they could still end it.
Why? Like why? Like my understanding
Because
is
it's
this
a
is
high note. They're gonna kill. They're gonna do it until we hate every character on this
Are
show.
you familiar with capitalism, Aaron?
That's how they make money. That's why The Office lasted beyond it being good.
I mean,
No,
so the
that's
first
not
season?
true.
No?
No,
They didn't want money?
Well, no. They wanted money. The last 3 seasons were not as good. It was not the peak, but they were still funny seasons.
What about the
But you're
return
suggesting
to
is
The
this should
Office?
end at its peak.
Well, they
Right.
should have ended at Jim and Pam's wedding at that point. But yeah,
But they aren't they still doing a return to The Office thing?
They're supposed to be. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna encourage them regardless.
You're paying them the money.
Yeah. All right. I see you have Spider. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I saw Spider-Man: Far From Home again on Sunday.
I wish we could spoil it, but we can't.
Yeah. Why? Let's spoil it. Who cares? We make our own rules. Oh, Stranger Things quote.
Well, Mike's
not going to see Spider-Man for like
live
another
streaming
year.
it. I don't want.
I don't know when, but hey, I get to see Endgame in a couple of weeks, right?
You haven't seen that yet?
No, he's waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray or whatever.
Oh yeah.
At this point, I was like, there was sort of kind of an opportunity recently, but again, the problems are still the same. It's like I got to carve out 5 hours of my day to watch this movie.
You'll like it.
It's not just the length of the movie. It's the driving there. It's the driving back. It's the getting in the seat, sitting through the
it's the logistics of
I
it
don't know
all.
how that's 5 hours, but that's...
It is.
Well, if it's going to take 10 minutes.
Are you walking on your hands to get there? Like, how is it 5 hours?
It's a half an hour there and a half an hour back, right?
Okay.
So that's an hour.
You're half an hour from your closest movie theater?
Yes.
Really?
Well, it might be 28 minutes.
You know, Mike, I passed 4 movie theaters on the way to your house, man. 4.
And how far away were they?
One of them was on your street, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you need to look
tell
around.
them to play, Endgame for free and pause it when I'm done, and I'll come back and watch the rest later.
All right. Well, you wouldn't be done then, would you?
Maybe in 2 weeks it'll be available on digital for rental. I mean,
it's coming out end of the month, so.
Oh, is it?
Yep, no problem.
I figured it would be aligned with the Disney. When's the service launching?
It's going to be on
November
there.
7th or something like that.
Yeah,
Disney Plus is coming out November 7th.
It's November something.
It's November something, and I know they said Endgame was on there, so I figured that would be.
Do we know how much the Disney service?
$7? I mean, that's what the 7th thing came from.
$6.99, I want to say. Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, until they increase it. Once they're like everybody's hooked, now it's $18.
No, now we're gonna go. I'm canceling Netflix. It's $15. Like, that's still a good deal if you watch it. I don't know.
Endgame arrives on digital July 30th. Physical release August 13th.
Okay.
So no worries.
So yeah, just watch it at home.
Yep.
Yeah. So you finished Jessica Jones, huh?
Yes, I did. Jessica Jones season 3.
I did not.
Was very good.
I haven't even started.
I've heard. I think I'm on episode 3 or 4. But you liked it? You recommend continuing?
I think you have to. If you've seen the first 2, you just got to see how it plays out.
Oh, I'm going
Very interesting. I mean, they really explore. You saw season 2, so I'm not spoiling anything.
My issue initially was so much Trish. I don't like Trish when she's on screen. So.
Oh well, then
yeah.
Something else, because it was pretty much Patsy Walker, not Jessica Jones this season.
Yeah, I'm not wild about that. That's not.
So the character that is the name of this show, barely in it.
She's
in it, but she's sort of like the sidekick to Hellcat, which is Patsy Walker.
Why? It's her show. She's a much more interesting character.
She doesn't want to be a hero. It was the I don't want to be a hero, leave me alone, and the Hellcat's like, oh, I want to be a hero.
But Hellcat's only powers are like random parkour. Like, I don't know how that helps her. Like, she just on a bank shot.
Random parkour.
I'm gonna jump off this wall. Like, great.
At a moment that was I accidentally jumped off this car and swung around a lamppost.
They still got away.
She has some other powers that show up in this season. But
is she more powerful than Jessica?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't
does she have her hell-based powers?
No.
Yes.
Well, no.
Literally the name of the character. Literally in the name of the character.
Yeah, she does not have hell-based powers. She has more cat-based powers.
So she licks herself and then coughs up fur balls at people.
Sure.
All right.
But not on screen.
Oh. Then what are we talking about?
Okay, so yeah. Well, okay. Spoiler alert. She can see in the dark.
Oh, gosh. Jessica can do
Okay.
that with a light.
No, she can't, but she can see in the dark without a flashlight.
Unassisted.
That's a power. And then she's got a killer instinct that
Like-
Jessica doesn't
Like
have.
the arcade game, like the N60, like the
Not
SNES
like the
port.
arcade.
Okay.
Just her killer instinct kicks in
Killer.
with her powers.
Does that
And I'll leave it.
mean she kills people?
Well, did you see the end of season 2?
Yes. Oh.
And she shoot
Yeah.
Jessica.
Yeah.
So her superpower is she's a murderer.
So
Yes, basically.
She's
That's
the
pretty
Punisher.
much.
Well, that's a good
She's-
point.
Yeah. So, and they bring in this other guy, and he's got an interesting power. So
Fool Killer?
I
Is
think-
he the bad guy?
no, it's not a bad guy
Oh.
or a good guy. It's just another character.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Gotcha.
This bad guy in it though is pretty interesting. He's very manipulative. You know, he really pushes their buttons, and I think you'd like it, even though there's a lot of Trish in it.
I'm gonna
An
finish
interesting
it, so.
factoid. Okay, you know, Patsy Walker started as like a romance type comic book.
Mhm.
And then when they made the Hellcat character, they brought her over into the Marvel superhero universe as Patsy Walker Hellcat.
I didn't know
So
that.
She was originally like a romance, non-comic book superhero comic.
But Marvel owned the rights to the character still?
Yeah, it was a
Oh.
Marvel comic because there was a time when Marvel didn't make, made non-superhero comics. They made romance comics and teen comics, like the Archie style type comics, and she was one of those type comics. So she has an interesting comic book history, that the character of Trish, and they do, follow. They're pretty true to it in the Jessica Jones show.
Okay.
Moving on.
That is good. I did not know that.
except
Yeah.
for her not having hell powers, which is weird. 'Cause,
She didn't originally have hell powers, though.
but like most modern interpretations of Hellcat, totally has hell-based powers.
Okay, but they kind of, without giving anything away, I mean, like they kind of delve into that portion of her character. too.
Did they introduce Damien Hellstring or Strong?
No, I don't think so.
Darn.
If they did, I missed it.
Disappointing.
I
Anyway,
bet you did.
Okay, so and also just with me, I've been on this crazy zero sugar, zero carbs, or very low carbs for 90 days. I'm like 70 days into it,
okay.
so that's been fun.
I mean, is it having the results that
Has
you
it-
wanted?
Has it actually been fun?
No,
Have you-
it has not been fun.
Have you Hellcated anyone since you've been on this thing?
No, I've been pretty good about trying to find alternate food sources,
Okay.
and hopefully by the end of the process, I will be off a lot of medication. So,
Well, prayerfully that works out for you. That sounds challenging, to say the least.
But worth it if it.
Yeah,
if it works
definitely. If it keeps you around longer, then it's definitely worth it.
yeah, that's what they tell me at home anyway. But yeah, even no artificial sweeteners. I am breaking my rule tonight. I'm having this so I can stay awake. But
Slider,
it's
please.
gross.
Please, don't tell us no.
It's no big deal. I'll be fine. But the doctor said, if you have artificial sweeteners, it tricks your brain into thinking, oh, well, I can just have a regular sweetener. It's no big deal. For some people, like if you don't have the discipline, then it works against you by thinking, oh, I'm just gonna have diet drinks, and your body gets tricked into just getting the sugar from elsewhere and storing things, and he was telling me all this sciencey stuff, and I was like, all right, I just won't have it. I'll do whatever you say for 90 days.
And then he waterboarded you for 3 months straight.
Wow.
That's true.
What? What?
He did. He's old school that way.
It's hardcore.
That's some bludgeon.
Yeah. Also, like the last couple months, I've been doing total tech overhauls with all my devices. I traded in my old my Surface Pro 3 that I've had since 2014, and I got a 6, Surface Pro 6. They had a good.
Oh, I didn't even know they were up that high.
You trade those things in pretty frequently, though, if memory serves.
Not the Surface. The Surfaces I don't, but iPads I trade in like, maybe every 90 days. I don't know.
Where are you trading this stuff into?
There's game stores near me that do decent trade-ins, and also, or I'll sell one and then use the money towards the new one. So
Makes sense.
Kind of stuff.
I've had success with Best Buy's trade-in. Like, you got to watch the price, but they go up and down. And if you can hit it at the peak, you can actually get a pretty decent trade toward a new one.
That's what I actually did for the Surface, because I had a Surface Pro 3, and then I got the Surface Go last year when it came out. Wasn't quite powerful enough for the amount of drawing resolution I needed. So they had a trade-in sale, for the Surface Pro 6, and they gave a really good trade-in price for the Surface Go. So it was sort of a wash for what I paid for it. And then they only gave me like $190 for the Surface Pro 3. So, you win some, you lose some, but the new one is great. Works incredibly. And then I got my iPad Pro 12 back from my daughter. I had to fight her for it. Not literally. Literally fight her.
Knocked her out.
I was like, back. I just punched her dead in the face and then took the iPad. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad you got it back.
I'm glad I helped bring you to such a terrible statement.
Luckily, I'm married to someone who can just speed dial social services if anything actually happens. So,
right.
I had a Surface Pro 10.5 it's the same innards as the 12.9, same technology, just a smaller screen. And I negotiated my return of the iPad Pro 12.9 by, let's say, look, I'll give you this iPad Pro 10.5. I'll give you the keyboard case with it, so it'll be like a computer when iPad OS comes out. And then she wasn't having it. And I was like, all right, I'll give you a $25 gift card to Amazon. And she was like, yeah, let me think about it. And I was like, $35. And then she was like, let me think about it overnight. I was like, no, I need to know now. I was like, all right, fine. $50 Amazon gift card. I'll give you my Amazon Kindle Fire Pro 10 HD. And anything else you want. I literally said anything else you want.
That sounds dangerous.
Jeez.
I don't
He knows how to play you.
It was a dangerous power move, but she was like, okay, it seems like you really need this. So more than me. So, okay, I'll do it.
You could have also just done like, do you want a roof over your head? Give me the iPad.
But it was like I gave her the iPad Pro, and it's kind of like, oh, I'm taking it back.
Oh.
But I really wasn't. I was just swapping it out because I need the bigger screen real estate for illustration purposes. And she was like, I just like the bigger screen.
Not a good enough argument.
And I was like, but really, you could still do everything on this iPad 10.5 Pro.
But Dad, you gave me a gift, and now you're taking it away.
It really wasn't a gift. It was sort of like, I'm upgrading here. You're in the right place at the right time. You can use this.
Yep. Well, Ben would like to subscribe to your newsletter about learning more negotiating tips. Give up everything. You can have it all.
Go with the power move of whatever.
Yeah, the power move was you can have whatever you want. Literally, I don't want to have to
Like
go and
another
buy
12-inch iPad.
So it's literally we don't negotiate with terrorists. We just give in to their demands.
We don't negotiate with teenagers until you negotiate with
What if she said, just buy me an iPad then? Like, buy me the same thing. Like, well, that...
Like, wait a
No.
minute, I could just buy me a good one.
That was the anything question. She was like, okay, you couldn't have it back, but when it's time for you to upgrade, I want it back. And I was like, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but you use the upgrades to, like, defray the cost of the upgrade with the old one, so you're...
Right, but I would upgrade the 10 point. I would trade in the 10.5, give her the 12.9 back, and then get the newer 12.9.
That's in chapter 4.2 of your negotiating
Why do they
pamphlet.
have so many sizes? I mean, they got the 9.7, the 10.5, 12.9, then they got the mini. Then there's like 3 different sizes of the phone. You just line them all up.
I think Apple's trying to kill off their laptop line because it's so much less expensive to create the iPads.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're creating the iPad OS, so you can use a mouse and a keyboard. I think that's where they're going. They're like,
why they want to kill the iMacs or whatever, MacBooks?
MacBook. I mean, I think because they're making terrible keyboards on purpose. I mean, that's the only thing I can.
It's like an expensive move to make.
No, I mean they got rid of the 12-inch MacBook, and like they're going towards, hey, if a user just needs to use this for internet browsing and email and whatnot, the iPad meets all your needs. If you actually need to do editing or whatnot, or creative endeavors, then hey, we have a MacBook/Mac Pro.
Right, we got a monster you can purchase. Otherwise,
you can spend $4,000 on
device.
If you don't have the internet, we have an Xbox for you. Okay.
The iPad Pros can handle video like a champ. I mean, there's almost really no reason to have a MacBook Pro. You can just get an iPad Pro with a keyboard and with the mouse. I downloaded the beta of iPad OS, and just as long as they have the apps, then it's. I mean,
so you need one of the big pros to use that.
No. The reason I asked her
the iOS.
iPad OS. You could run on just iPad 5s and up. iPad Model 5. The newest one is iPad Model 6, and then there's iPad Pro lines, and then there's the iPad Mini 5, and they can all use the iPad OS.
If it wasn't confusing enough, we're trying our hardest.
Basically, 2 generations in the past of iPads you'll be able to install.
But how do you know? I mean, honestly, how do you know how many generations old your device is? Especially when
you have that question,
they don't even have names for the regular. Oh, it's too old.
If you didn't buy that question, today, your iPad's too old.
Right. That's they don't give them new names anymore for the regular iPad line. It'll just say iPad 2018,
the new iPad
19, 17, whatever it is. Since the Air, after they ditched Air 2 in favor of regular iPad lines again, it's just been called iPad again.
Yeah.
I think. As far as I know. I mean, the news flies under my radar these days, but still.
I don't know. Hopefully they can bring back Steve Jobs somehow. And
send him through that time portal, and he can be the knight that guards the Grail.
How do you feel about disappointment? I guess is the real question.
I mean, yeah.
Did he clone himself?
Maybe.
I mean, we don't know. It could be.
Somebody knows.
You're messing with the wrong guy.
Anyway.
Yeah. And the last thing is, 6 months ago, my iMac died, and my friend and I were trying to upgrade it, we actually broke the motherboard, so it just was a And it was a 2007.
You doing the water upgrade? Were you?
I did.
No, we were
By
just
pouring water on it.
we were upgrading it to an SSD, and
Oh,
put
yeah, you
the
gotta be careful.
motherboard back in. Something snapped off it, and then just the screen just went. Bloop. It was glorious to look at for the second that it
Wait a minute.
happened, but then
It was on when you were doing this?
no. Well,
No,
we
they
didn't
turned it
realize when we were putting everything back together. We accidentally had it plugged in. Like the third time we were trying to get all the parts back in, and it just died.
Okay.
I'm sorry, IT master.
When was the last time they made an iMac?
Oh, they just announced a new one.
Really?
Well, they still make them. Yeah, but it's like a $10 million iMac.
Oh yeah, it's super
Oh,
expensive.
that's not real. That's nonsense, you know?
And then there's
Like,
the
You know,
iMac.
if you want a brand new off the factory line Atari 2600 for $10 million,
Oh,
I bet you can
this
make that
is
happen.
this is the iMac Pro. Like this is like the 8K screen and all that's like it is stupid expensive. And
So
also
why is it called an iMac then?
I don't know what you mean. So I don't know if you're thinking of the iMac that had like the handle.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
thinking of the
that
CRT.
That iMac,
Well,
that iMac line died a long time ago. They renamed it. The new iMac is just the all-in-one screen.
I did
Yeah,
not.
and my iMac that died was a 2007 27-inch screen.
Like,
flat,
I'm thinking of the stuff that Noel Crane made websites on in
No.
the 90s.
That
Yeah.
iMac line that name has been taken by a new iMac line.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that
But anyway,
explains a lot.
The happy ending to this story is my friend, they actually, where he works, they gave him an old iMac 2011 model to just like, it's done. They either throw it out or they let people take the old hardware. And he was like, I had this in my basement and I feel bad that, he didn't break it, but he was like, I feel kind of responsible. I was like, no, you're not
Oh, you
responsible. It just happened. But he gave me I got another 27-inch iMac that's a 2011 instead of my 2007. And he installed an SSD in it. So happy ending. And that's what I'm using right now to talk to the internet.
And they're the ones writing it off.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Excellent.
that's it. The iMac saga is over.
Welcome back, Slider.
Thank
And
you.
what? I missed the last thing you said before you said thank you.
Oh, the iMac saga is over and just beginning.
Oh, well, that changes everything. All right, Mike, you got to top that.
I'm not going to try, but I did start, and literally I say start. I started watching Bumblebee, and the first, not even 5 minutes, like 3 minutes or so of the movie, I thought was amazing. I was like, if this,
I knew you would.
Hold on now.
Are they on Cybertron during that part?
They're on Cybertron.
Okay.
I see familiar
Yeah,
characters.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if this is how the first Transformers movie started, I may have been on board. Then they get to Earth, and the movie becomes so boring that I fell asleep. And then I tried watching it again from that point another night, and I fell asleep 5 minutes after I hit play. I still have not seen more than about 30 minutes of the entire movie.
Okay, so you've seen a Transformer die.
Oh yeah, the one voiced by a famous guy originally who is no longer with us.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Original G1 voice was a dude who used to announce top 40 hits.
Oh, Casey Kasem.
And was also the voice of.
No, we're not saying Casey Kasem.
Yeah,
I mean, you're being coy about who's dead, so I might as well be like,
You might as
No,
well
I'm not
join
being
in.
coy. I don't remember which Transformer it is.
it was Cliff Jumper. Yeah.
So
And it was also like,
know it
wow,
was red.
you were wasted in a way like all of them did in the original 86 cartoon movie. But hey, at least it's still better than anything Michael Bay did.
Yeah.
But like, everything about the human characters in every one of these movies is like, just walk off the screen and let the Transformers be in a movie about Transformers, please.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not wrong.
That sounds like the same complaint as I heard people about Godzilla. Like, oh, it was all about the monsters. And it's like, isn't that what that movie's supposed to be about?
But still, Godzilla. I mean,
I didn't see the
any of
last
those
one. I
monster
wanted
movies,
to.
I haven't seen
It's
it yet.
about monsters destroying human stuff.
Yeah.
And
Like-
people argued about, oh, the human story was terrible in the new Godzilla movies and blah blah blah. I'm like, did you not see the rubber suit movies? Did you ever care at all ever about any human at all on any screen? You just waited for them to get off the screen so you could see the Godzilla. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nobody
You
ever had
had to have that anticipation. Back then,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm not even making a
Same
joke.
thing
here.
about
That's
Superman movies.
That is
There's
why
no action.
you know, they intentionally didn't show you
There's too much
Jaws
action in
until
Man of
like
Steel.
3/4 through the movie or whatever it was, because
the shark didn't work.
well, but it's really, it's the build up. It's the whole like, it saves on special effects, but it's like it builds the mystique, and if you're into it, if it's a well done movie, then that's a big payoff. Whereas if it's garbage special effects that they don't want to show you a whole lot of, because the more they show you, the more it takes you out of the movie, like Sharknado or whatever, like,
Yeah, you take that back.
And I don't disagree with you, but if part of the problem with Jaws, and maybe it's just a bad example, is because the shark didn't work. If they had access to the shark, to a working model of the shark, I think you would have seen the shark much sooner in that movie.
that
Yeah.
may be true,
Like-
but it was serendipity then.
Exactly. Like it's more like it's the same idea as I've been listening to people talk about like Castlevania or Contra lately, and you look at the Contra for Japan, and then you look at the Contra for US, and why is it harder for us? And you start getting into like the background of, oh, hey, rentals were becoming a thing, so they said, hey, let's make this game artificially harder, because we want to impact the rental market. And it's like, but people treat this as like a point of pride. Like, guys, they didn't do it because they're like, oh, this is how real games should be made. They did it because they're like, hey, we hate that Blockbuster has the ability to rent that in this country. So like,
Yeah, I mean, and that's totally true and everything. But like, when I sit back and I like think about how that works, it's really them going, we know there's not enough content to justify owning this. We have to, like, we like, the idea is to trick people into thinking that there's enough so that they own it and then they can't return it. If they have the ability to return it, we're screwed. Like, that sounds awful.
I mean, yeah, it's the same idea as so what the Completionist just did The Lion King on Super Nintendo this last week, and it's like Disney literally had a directive that said like, hey, once you get past the first level, just skyrocket the difficulty because we want people to buy this game.
I guess it didn't backfire. I guess I don't know.
I mean, that again, you have the weirdo like my anyway. Yeah, it's just weird because you look at again, it's a difference in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was people at that time looking at numbers, and if they were accurate about it, I mean, maybe financially there was like a good point to it, but it's like the rental stores are still paying for the game, and if they have one copy, it's rented out. Nobody else is renting the game, so it's like if they're buying multiple copies.
Yeah, but on the other hand, so I'll make
It'd
the
still be
argument the
buying
other way.
multiple copies.
A rental is a 2-day rental. That means in a week, 3.5 people can experience your game.
Sure, if it never sits on the shelf, right. If it's brand new and constantly rented, you know,
Right.
sure.
Like
sure.
it's instead of those 3.5 people spending $50.
Yeah, and being
$80 or
angry and not wanting to buy your next game, maybe.
Doesn't-
I mean,
Well, see, that's giving consumers a lot of credit for
but
never.
also don't. I mean, and this is a little bit of the piracy argument, saying like, look, if people are gonna download a billion games, they weren't gonna buy all that stuff anyway. Like if you're looking at this
you're not wrong.
realistic standpoint, that's not actual real dollars lost from that. Certainly distribution and reselling, that's a totally different story.
But it is
But
a
someone who's
percentage.
going to spend $4 to $5 to rent a game isn't necessarily going to spend 50, 60. And in those years, up to 80, 90, $100. Some of those games, Final Fantasy 3, Phantasy Star 4, those were literally 80, 90, $100 games.
Oh yeah.
They were not going to buy those games in the first place.
But the question is, of the people that are renting it, what percentage would have?
Right. And
not saying
trying
100%.
Exactly. And trying to
20%, that's still huge. Like
paying somebody to figure out the math, to figure out real world lost dollars, and certainly not them just trying to justify their job by coming up with numbers that say, no, we need to make sure rentals get burned to the ground. And also at the time, renting in Japan, I believe, was illegal.
It was, and
so I mean, it's like they didn't have that problem. And to your point earlier, whereas that's the difference between the Japanese version and the U.S. version. But I guess that's why it was illegal.
Well, yeah, they had the protection. They had government protections for the software product
because they were worried about it. So I don't know. I mean, nowadays there's no such thing as rentals anymore. So
I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I have never rented a video game ever,
like including GameFly.
Including GameFly, because the one time I did rent it, I never returned it, and then I just had to pay for it.
That is technically not a rental, so I'm not going to argue with you. You just stole it, but yeah.
I did the same thing with Netflix movies. Like, I think that's why I own a copy of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
That's why I own a copy of Don King, Made in America.
So, but I mean, like, I don't know. Rentals were a big thing when I was a kid. Like,
oh yeah,
sure.
Oh, I rented movies like.
Oh, but like, I'd go rent an N64 game at the same time.
Yeah, what if they did the same thing to the movie industry? Be like, these darn rental companies. We need to make sure the movie is unfinishable.
Movies had a system in place to stop.
Yeah, they charge a ton.
It was right. It was like $100 to do that.
Yeah, like you'd see the initial rental cost come out, and it'd be $100 to a couple $100 depending on at what point you're looking. And then it would be actually, and it's funny enough, Disney's the one that was like, "Hey, forget that. We can go direct market and make so much more money." Because that's what happened with like Aladdin and whatnot, and Little Mermaid with the penis on the cover. So yeah, it's
right in the castle.
We had a GameStop employee, or at that point, FuncoLand employee, point that out to my mother. It was very funny.
Oh, there you go.
They were trying to figure out because so FuncoLand used to take VHSs in, and trying to understand why Little Mermaid was so like we have a copy
valuable?
At my parents' house. Why was so valuable? And he's like, "There's something drawn into the castle."
Because nerds really need to have that in their collect. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because
was it intentionally drawn, or was it just?
I mean, that artist is going to take that to the.
It has to be intentional.
I mean, I
don't remember seeing this.
It went over my head, but there's a list of all these things between Little Mermaid,
Lion King,
Aladdin. A few others in the earlier.
Little Mermaid has two. It has the thing on the cover, and then the erection from the priest
during the wedding
end.
scene with the priest.
But I still like. I've had people show me stuff, and I'm just like, I
wait,
still
what? This is a family show.
Right. Bring your family on.
So, like, if you go to Snopes, they say that it is false, that it was intentional.
Yeah.
How
so
they
said somebody who wanted to keep his or her job.
Exactly. Like no.
When I used to collect the original Star Wars trading cards, one of the disgruntled airbrush artists gave C-3PO an extra appendage, and it's a card out there.
Are they just bored? Like, what is the deal?
Yeah, I guess he just thought.
What's the deal?
And then they had to reissue the card without that showing. So, I mean, I guess it does happen.
No, so it's worth thousands upon billions of dollars.
I don't think it's worth that much. Who wants
Thousands of
to
pounds.
gold rod? It's
If anybody could produce this, it would actually just erase the national debt.
So anyway, what else you got, Mike?
I went. All right, so a recent request was made of me to try the Burger King taco.
Oh, good. I'm glad somebody did.
So I go to Burger King today, and I order the taco, and then the lady says to me, "We're out of the tacos because they're at the warehouse."
What does that mean?
I was just like,
The shells?
"Oh, okay."
I don't want to think about food being at a warehouse.
I don't know, but also, as I walked in, I looked up at the picture of this thing on the screen, and I was like, it doesn't even look appealing in the photo used to promote it. Like it looks like a 7-day stale old garbage shell that they picked up off of the floor after it fell out of the box when you opened your what's that? The Ortega box from the grocery store. Like it was bad. But anyway,
Yeah, these pictures are not appetizing.
no, but never fail.
see.
They also had a pulled pork sandwich that I'd never
no.
tried.
No, I wouldn't try that from no.
Wow.
Nah, man.
Don't. It is one of the dumbest things. I mean, I watched the dude take a little pouch of trash, throw it in the microwave.
A pouch.
I mean, it was
Bank shot.
It was bad. So it's basically it's pulled pork. They put like a layer of pickles on top of that, and then a layer of fried onions on top of that. And yeah, it was. Well, I got it down, but
well,
don't order that. It is bad.
You
But
get it out
no. Well,
as quick as possible.
right. No, I that was my lunch today. But I will try the taco if they actually if any of the ones that I go to ever actually have any. It's like $1. It's $1 for a stupid taco or something like that.
But would you die for $1? I mean, just think about
Hey,
it.
if I lived through the microwave pouch pulled pork sandwich,
you can live through anything.
literally what the name should be. That would be much better than.
I think you just rolled the dice with that one, and you should
there's
not go.
there's a gas station down the road from me that does Taco Tuesday night, and the first time I tried it, I was like, this is pretty good. Then I got it again and was like, you know what? These tacos are better than Taco Bell. This is my new taco joint. Tuesdays, I'm coming here.
I mean, let's be honest. Is it hard to have better tacos than Taco Bell? Like that bar seems really low. I'm just saying. Like,
But at least Taco Bell tacos are consistent. Like you know what you're getting.
that is true. Indigestion. Go ahead.
This gas station one time destroyed these tacos.
Did you just say gas station?
Oh yeah, that's how I started it. It's literally the gas station making the tacos. The one time they destroyed these tacos so bad, I vowed never again, and that was like 4 years ago.
Never again.
So
Not like this.
they no more taco business from me at the local gas station.
I don't know if you can keep that promise, though.
Well, there's a Burger King across the street from them, so I may be visiting that place at some point.
What if that gas station is just actually supplying the taco or the Burger King with
That would be an inefficient use of resources.
Wouldn't be the first time.
So, yeah. Well, there you go. Aaron, what are you doing?
I'll be brief. I met Larry Lasberry. Larry from Facetious, the show he does with Scarfinger. Anyway, he was in town for training. Hit me up like a day or two before. Said he
Nice.
want to do lunch. Neither one of us really had time, so we not one of those things like you meet somebody and you have to go, they don't, or vice versa. We both really like it was all fat. It was like, hey, we ate, we conversed, and then another gentleman, Anthony, who lives in the area. I met him as well. He had never met him either. Knows both of us from Twitter. So yeah, it was really good to be able to put a face to the. I mean, I don't know what he looks like, but just sit down and just break bread with him. As brief as it was, but it was cool. So hopefully,
do you guys all work in the same industry? Is that why you're training?
I mean, he's a Fed, but he was in town for either training or a conference. He works for a completely different. He works for like DOD, so he does something completely different than what I do. But
okay.
Yeah.
But
he's from Oklahoma, so they flew him out to do some training or a conference or what have you. So I was glad he hit me up. So it was nice to see him. So
cool.
And of course, he's taller than I thought he would be, like everybody else is. So yeah, that's normally how things go. People always.
What do you expect most people to be a foot shorter than you?
Do you expect people you've met before to be the same height as before or taller?
I'm gonna go with taller. So when we hang out and get slider, I expect you to be a foot taller, or else. Let me see. And then last weekend was BlurredCon in Virginia, right outside of DC, pretty much. Blurred is a portmanteau for Black Nerd. So it's basically a convention that anybody can go to, obviously, but there's mostly black folks there. It was great. It was fantastic. I spent a lot of time at the Extra Life booth, but from what I was able to see, it was a really good con. So it was cool. I should probably bring my kids next year. The 13-year-old was like,
is cool.
Is it always at the same place?
Yeah. Oh, it's only the second year, I think.
Yeah, second year.
Yeah.
Second or third?
Second or third, yeah. No, it was fun. We had a lot of good signups. So, good times.
I saw, I don't know how many years ago this was, but I don't know, I'm just going to say like 6 years ago, something like that. Donald Faison was on a talk show, and he referred to himself as a blurred. That was the first time I had ever heard that. But I didn't know that that BlurredCon had only its second year in, so
yeah,
in its infancy still.
In terms of some of the guests, I know Rachel True was there. From I can't think of the movie now. I'm not drawing a blank.
From
The Craft.
Half Baked.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, she was in Half Baked as well, but she was there. That's sort of in terms of going along with the theme of the convention. I was saying
Half Baked just last week.
It'd be more The Crafts, less Half Baked, but she wasn't that though.
I'll follow her on Twitter, and she posted a cool picture, I think, from BlurredCon of a bunch of people dressed as her character.
Yes,
that was cool.
That was
very cool.
That was cool. And there was some deep cuts. Like there was a brother there dressed up as Quail Man from Doug. I saw him. I was like, I know that because he had the belt on and the loop. I was like, what? Who is that? I was like, that's Quail Man. I haven't thought about Quail Man in forever. So, that was good stuff though. Yeah. So maybe I should plan better for next year. Maybe bring the kids. He might dig that. GameStop. Apparently, GameStop is trying to launch, like I guess some of their stores, like rebrand them and like have CRTs and retro games and try to have Elite. I don't know. They seem like they're just grasping.
They're trying to build an experiential store or whatever. Like
they are.
Like what the Lego store is like and whatnot. Where like, hey, you come in. It's not just. You're not there just for the transaction.
True.
Yeah, but Lego stores don't have stuff that barely works from 30 years ago. Like, they're still selling brand new merchandise.
And I think these places will still also sell.
Well, what do you say?
Oh, you mean they're just going to sell new Formula Coke and, like, cans that say Stranger Things on them and stuff? It's not actually old stuff?
It'll be a mixture, I want to say.
Yeah. But it just seems to me like I mean, obviously they've been getting trounced, so they're trying to figure out where they are. I feel like with them doing that, will they put a hurt on local mom and pop video game stores.
I don't see how they could possibly compete with stuff where it's like desirable
Yeah,
old
that's true.
school CDs and cartridges and stuff. Like, it's just, they don't pay any attention, at least thus far, to quality, the condition of anything, making sure anything's actually legitimate, or even the game that you ordered.
It says Conquer on it, doesn't it? It says
Somebody
Command and
wrote in
Conquer.
crayon Sunset Riders over this copy of Mario for the NES. It must be Sunset Riders. Here you go.
Oh man. Command and Conquer Live and Reloaded, just like you ordered. This, you are wrong on every account, sir. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, if they do a couple in this area, I'll probably go and look in there and go, okay, yeah, that's Mario Brothers, and then walk out. But
I mean, who are they trouncing, or who's trouncing them? That's
digital sales, I guess.
digital sales? Okay.
Like, that's gonna be like, I don't know. I was thinking about this lately. Like, when GameStop does die, like, there is going to.
If you're just like when. Like,
Well, no, like,
No, it's a given.
A lot of people are assuming it's a given, or they'll reduce down to like Barnes and Noble did and whatnot. But like, when it does, there is going to be a population, and it's not going to be insignificant, that no longer has any access to locally being able to purchase games.
Right.
And like, that sucks. Like,
I also think it'll be a while. Also, I'm not looking forward to it because it's a lot of people's jobs. So I'm not like, hey, go out of business, because people will lose their jobs.
And to like a smaller portion of it, I mean, there's plenty of Walmarts out there. As long as they continue to sell physical copies of games, there'll be something. But there's so many games that Walmart does not carry.
And it's not only that, but people also use like the trade-ins to help fund the purchase of other.
Sure.
Like,
And also,
it's the only reason they still exist at all.
Like,
and
well,
you talk to the workers there that play the games, and they suggest stuff not just because they're going to make more money. They'll tell you, put that back, it sucks. Get this instead. You know, like,
And then a hole opens in the floor, and they fall into a pit of alligators.
that GameStop employee does not stay employed.
Right.
no, like, so all the GameStop employees around me, they're really well trained employees and good workers.
Are you at gunpoint or something that we can't see?
Right?
They are all well-trained people offering the best suggestions on video games and use cell phones.
All of them are the best people.
I was in a boating accident. I mean boating accident.
All right, I'm sorry you guys have crappy GameStops near you.
It's
but
not-
I mostly avoid them, honestly.
Yeah, like I don't go into GameStops a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's just from my experience of working at a GameStop, like, being passionate about games is not a requirement to work at GameStop.
No. Being passionate about selling
knowing
used
how to
games
repeat
is
the corporate line.
So
How many
Well-
subscriptions of Game Informer would you like to have today, yesterday,
now-
and the day after?
and now the thing doesn't even come with a subscription to Game Informer. It's so weird.
So is Game Informer
Oh,
going to
yeah,
go out of
I was
business too?
They had layoffs a couple months.
They had a
went in
good
there
run,
today.
man. Good Lord, they had a good run.
They charge $5.99 for a copy of Game Informer now.
I mean, that's a magazine.
You can
Oh
get
yeah,
Nintendo
a
Force.
single issue. That's not
Nintendo
out
Force.
of this world, but
What did they shut down? They shut down Game Informer Australia. Is that what they shut down?
I didn't know there was a Game Informer in
They
Australia.
did something recently.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
yeah.
It was like 3 people or something. I mean, because it's also Australia.
What were they doing?
Nothing.
They were so kind of like how GameStop, GameSpot and other ones. I believe they were filtering stories that were relevant to
Whatever the
their
ad.
region, essentially, and then maybe also doing supplementary content. But like, they don't care about whatever the limited edition in US is going to be.
Tiny, did you get Nintendo Force?
I did not. I also didn't get that classic gaming mag. I think there were 2 at Magfest.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get that one either.
Or not Magfest, at Too Many Games that I meant
Was
to.
it classic gamer or something like that?
Yeah, I went by their booth. I'm
Wait a
like,
minute.
man, I should go back and.
Every month, Slider, you get a poster.
Old School Gamer. That's what the magazine's called.
The problem is
I like retro.
The problem is,
retro. Don't support retro. That's an abysmal flaming tire pile at this point.
Because it's $60 an issue.
No, because they don't actually have any new. Like, look, the whole story is rooted in that same jerk that did the Coleco Chameleon thing.
Mike.
Yeah, like it.
Not obviously.
You just stomp on.
They seem pretty trustworthy to me. I don't know what your
Well,
problem is.
I was fooled at I don't know. I mean, yeah, so basically what it was
kind of bitter.
The remnants of that mixed with Game Gavel, which all got like legally screwed up together in some pile of garbage, got sold off to some other guy that was trying to like pick up the pieces and make something out of it, but didn't deliver on anything, and he's just like rerunning. It's basically like every issue is best of previous issues of Retro magazine.
That's not.
No, it's a bunch of garbage, and I think there was like another Like, don't even let that tire fire burn.
The Kickstarter to finish our other Kickstarter.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, even when they were still doing stuff, they were doing like crowdfunding per episode or per issue. It's just.
I'll make you a deal. You don't try the Burger King taco, and I'll stop buying Retro Gamer.
Burger King taco costs $1, man.
I know, but
so you recommend it, or
I'm worried you will cease to exist if you bite into one of those tacos.
Well, that would be an adventure.
I mean, if you're gonna go seek out a magazine, go get Edge. I really like Edge when I had a subscription to it.
Is that the UK one?
Nintendo Force.
The UK one.
I'm gonna try Nintendo Force.
Like, Edge was real good, but on the other hand, I don't want to get stuff in the mail. So like, none of this is actually that,
All right.
I want more issues of Turbo Play.
I gotta wake up early in the morning. So there's a new model of the Switch with an extended battery, which is a far cry from all the hype about a pro version of the Switch. A better battery is good, but that's not exactly what I think I would have wanted.
Well, but like, isn't this? But this is just going to be the regular. This is the new regular Switch. So like, that doesn't mean the Pro's off the table.
It's off the table.
Okay.
It's out of this world.
Wait a minute. This is in addition to the Lite.
Yes. In addition to the Lite, they are it's just a Switch revision. That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
Same price.
Same price. Same.
Yeah. Then it's just
a revision. Like, it's the
same form factor.
The board's gotten smaller, so we can make the battery bigger.
So it's a Jasper.
Yes.
It's a Falcon. I mean,
a Falcon. Sorry. We haven't got to Jasper yet.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that 199 model because I don't like ever plug the Switch into the TV, and I like collecting handheld systems, so that's perfect for me.
You know, Tony, this would be a great time to play that voicemail. Actually, this goes right along with what Slider just said.
So due to this, we're going to skip to play a voicemail.
We'll go back to it. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. I'm totally not stretching for time while I set up being able to share the voicemail.
Oh, of course.
So let's go to that voicemail.
Hey, fellas, what's going on? What's going on, GameEnthus crew and guests? This is Jovan from New York calling again, and as usual, it's something Nintendo Switch related. So, as you all know, I guess today is the 10th, right?
I was late on this one.
And they just announced the Switch Lite, which is going to be $199.99, and it's coming out, what they said, November 8th, 2019. For some reason, I thought it was earlier. But anyway, basically, I'm calling to see what do you got feelings on it. Do you see yourself purchasing one? Do you see it as like a viable option? I was looking online, and it seems like a lot of people have an issue with the naming convention, but I think it's very Nintendo to keep like that same name and just like add something new to it. For me personally, as a PS Vita super fan, this is like a dream come true. I kind of feel like Sony got their food eaten, even though like clearly they've made it clear that they're not really interested in staying in the handheld market. So anyway, I want everybody to like take a little second. What's your feelings on it? Do you see yourself purchasing one? And how do you see it as being useful to other game enthusiasts out there and everything. Anyway, keep up the good work, fellas. Again, this is Jovan from New York. Take it easy.
Well, thank you, Jovan, for leaving the voicemail. It went right along with what Slider was just saying. So, Slider, please. You were hyping it up and telling us you were going to buy all of us a Nintendo Switch Lite. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
It's good for the goose.
I'm not going to buy one.
Good for the gander.
I'm not going to buy one. I'm going to buy all 3 colors. That's how excited I am for this thing. It looks awesome. The form factor is perfect for what I like as a handheld. I like the fact that it's just streamlined down to handheld only without worrying about connecting it to your TV, which was clunky for me. I just never got into that Switch dock. I didn't like the Joy-Cons having to slide them on and off. I just like it. You know, I also like that new D-pad. That's a very cool addition. So,
a D-pad is nice.
I mean, it checks all the boxes for me, and the colors look great. So, I mean, that's it. I'm definitely getting at least one. I may get all 3. You know, it may take me a couple years to collect all 3, but
by then there'll be lots more colors.
That's the power move in the negotiations. Like
that's the you're gonna Pokemon that.
I will buy anything from you, Nintendo. Anything. Because I do my handheld collection for Nintendo is I have every handheld from Game Boy original up to the Switch, all the iterations. The only one I'm missing is the Japanese Game Boy Light because it was never released in America. My local game store has one, but it's $199, and that's too much. The only reason we got it priced that high is because it has the box.
Yeah, the Game Boy Light never came over here.
I thought I remembered. Right. Maybe some places were importing it. I do remember having access to purchasing it. And
yeah,
the Game
so
Boy
that's
Pocket
one thing.
Go because it was cheap.
Yeah, it's on my wish list to get a Game Boy Light, but I can't get that one at the game store.
Not for that much. No.
Do you
I don't care about the
Virtual
box.
Boy portable?
I do have a Virtual Boy.
Yeah, well then there you go. You're set.
Nice. Oh, a working Virtual Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yo, your collection has gotten crazy. I've been seeing the pictures you've been taking.
Yeah, and when I get some time, when we get back from up north and I get it all set up, I'll post some, finalized pictures. But yeah, I've been trying to really diversify my collection. I did just reacquire an Xbox One. I was on the fence by getting the Xbox, whatever, the one without the drive, but
the Shade.
A lot of Twitter. Yeah, a lot of people were talking me out of it. And, when they had a sale for cheaper than the Xbox One discless, I just picked it up and I signed up for that Game Pass that you guys were talking about.
Game Pass is great.
A while back.
Kids are talking about these things.
Yeah, all you kids are talking about, and it's great. I'm loving the Xbox One again.
Good.
So if they can make a discless Xbox, why can't Nintendo release the Nintendo Switchless? Just call it that. I mean, because that's what it is. No more switching, just playing.
Yeah, but
name recognition is something.
It's the name. It's the Nintendo. Hold it in your hand and play games called Switch.
Here's what I think's going to happen. My prediction. I'm armchairing. I think how they have like Chromecast, they're going to have a Switchcast where you can just wirelessly send it to the screen with the new, Switch Lite, and you won't have to have a dock.
That's a lot of power to do that. So
I don't know. Chromecast pulls it off with HD 4K video, so
True.
I can't.
Right.
And they built in before even the toys to life. They built in the little readers, and nobody really was wise to that. And then all of a sudden, put your toys to life on the 3DS, and it'll show up. So they may have baked in some.
The new 3DS.
Yeah, only in the new 3DS. The old ones you had to go buy a puck for.
Right. But
Which are very expensive now. No, they're not.
So one thing, and we talked about this last week, we weren't sure, but it's been confirmed now. Amiibo support is in the new Switch
They
Lite.
have to be. That would be dumb.
Well, if they wanted to never make any.
This is Nintendo, though.
So really? Oh man, I can't believe they would have taken that feature out too. But yeah, so it's in there.
The only thing that certainly I'm not going to buy one because
I'm out.
Who cares? But yes, I'm sure it's going to be more comfortable than a portable.
Real deal.
Yeah, right. You got your comfort grips there.
I have to. I cannot play without these things. Right. I will not play. I just
dock it and use a real controller.
Well,
because I barely ever use it portably.
This is 95% of the Switch usage.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I have no interest in a version that can't do any of that. But to me, it may be very limited and probably way more so, but when the 360 launched and the hard drive was optional, it meant developers can't assume anything.
Right.
Including Hexes.
And that's the only thing that bothers me about this. Because sure, if you love the idea of never docking a Switch, fine, never dock a Switch. I don't care. But if that becomes the dominant version, whatever is the unique features of the Joy-Cons and everything, they're not going to take advantage of that. Almost nobody will.
Oh yeah, no.
Same reason no one's releasing a Kinect game for Xbox One now.
Yeah, the IR sensor and HD Rumble are dead.
Dead in the water. So it's just whatever. We paid for this stuff, and enjoy those 3 or 4 games that got released that use them.
Hey, you know what uses the IR sensor a lot?
Mario Maker?
Labo.
Oh, well, I don't care about that.
Well, see, there is content that uses this.
Right. Well, no, there is. I just mean don't expect any more going forward.
No, but they said you can use the Joy-Cons on the Switch Lite.
But think about this.
But you have to assume that you have a market that has gone out and bought another accessory, and
well, not just the one.
Works.
So if you bought a regular Switch, it comes with the Joy-Cons and it comes with the ability to charge the Joy-Cons. If you buy the Switch Lite and you buy the Joy-Cons, you still have to buy a device that will let you charge them.
That's true.
Does not come with.
Those stupid batteries that you get attached to the Joy-Con are the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
So you have to charge them with either the extra price cradle,
thing.
or a third party.
That's true.
Dock them and do up to 4 or whatever they got. So no one is going to assume that you can do that.
Nope. They are not.
And who's also using Joy-Cons in a portable scenario anyway?
And also with the Switch Lite, there's no kickstand, so
right.
No one's able to someone's holding that, playing it. You're not putting it down at your garden party.
You can buy something or you can lean it against a box.
I'm sorry, mister. We can't find a way to charge the Joy-Cons, but we're going to go out and buy it.
You don't. You can go to Five Below and buy a $1 piece of plastic that can hold up a Switch.
Or a $5 piece of plastic.
Probably $5. Five Below charges, they sell $10 items now.
Do they?
Yes. They have a shelf called the high price crap, and it's all $10.
Is that really what the shelf is called? Is it across the shelf?
They have gaming keyboards and copies of Lego Dimensions for Xbox 360 and Wii U, and they want $10.
You have to put on to shop at the $10 shelf. What's going on there?
I don't know, but they're not going to rename the store 10 Below because that upsets the marketplace.
Anyway,
I still really enjoy that store.
So other stuff, just to clarify. So the Switch Lite comes out September 20th. I think the one Javon's referencing is the Pokemon Switch Lite comes out November 8th, which is the special edition Pokemon Sword and Shield. Switch Lite.
Nobody
Yeah,
likes
hard pass
Pokemon
on
anyway,
me.
so
No, that game's gonna flop because of all the people that are mad about the National Dex and all the other dumb shit that's going on the internet right now. But on the other hand, the Switch Lite launches like a day and a half before Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Smart
So
thinking.
I'm shocked they haven't announced a limited edition one of those yet.
Well, according to a friend of the show,
Wait,
Ben, they're going to call it the Nintendo Switch non-Switch edition.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. What is that?
The base model is coming out a day after Zelda.
NSC. No, we got to come up with some letters that say something.
The Switch Lite.
The sad, what's a Switch sad? I don't know. It doesn't have to be sad.
I'm not in marketing, Mike. I just can't be your acronym person.
Yeah, I'll come up with something. Never.
But no. So the Nintendo Switch launches worldwide September 20th, the same day. Actually, it's the same day now as the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, the remake. So,
how about the Zilch? Call it
What?
This thing is going to sell gangbusters.
Yeah, it's going to do quite well.
Yeah, I mean,
It's going to do super well. It is not for pretty much anyone but Slider on the show. But I anticipate at least two of us will own one before the end of this console.
I mean, I will say, if I had never bought a Switch and I somehow was convinced I would never care about hooking up to a TV, sure, I might be interested in this. Because they do look good. And
it's a nice looking device.
It looks nice. The D-pad's nice. Supposedly the account system's going to work well, but it's Nintendo, so I'll hold my breath on that one.
Yeah.
I
play
no street
my
passing,
Switch
though. Sorry, Ben.
when I play it at least 90% of the time.
Yeah, see, and I don't play. I almost exclusively an undocked, but this does not interest me.
Yeah.
I am more interested in going and finding the second revision of the Switch to go get the better battery life one. But the moment I buy that will be the moment Nintendo announces the Switch Pro. So,
Yeah.
But isn't the Switch Lite going to have better battery life?
Yeah, I believe so.
Concessions that come with it. Yeah.
right, with all the other pieces that I don't want. So the revision of the Switch whatever 1.2 or whatever
2.0?
is going to have a bigger battery because they can reduce the chip size. And cool, I get to use all
Are
the
they gonna make it
accessories
better?
I already own. What's that? No, it's the exact same product except for the internal circuit is smaller, or the internal board is smaller, so the battery can be bigger. So that is.
I mean, this whole thing almost makes me feel like Nintendo intentionally set everybody up to be like, this is how we phase out the home console completely and only do portable. We're like, we've got the device for you if you want both, but now here comes the one that everybody's going to actually buy because it's at the affordable price and it's just a handheld.
We'll see. I don't see it. I don't see the Smash community, for example, embracing this.
No.
Well,
Like,
no.
As an example,
The people who want to play
like,
games with other people.
Yeah, like being able to
This
do
is like
this.
for
Go for it.
This
Slider.
is for parents who want to get, now there's no, like, 3DSs are going to get phased out. And this is like the replacement for the 3DS. And parents are going to go, oh, yeah.
This is the
Switch
2D.
Lite. And,
This is their 2DS option. Like, cool.
Pretty much.
yeah.
Like this is exactly what that is. Great. God bless. I own a 2DS. Who knows why? So it was cheap and it came with Pokemon. And like, great. Awesome. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and in that same way, the 3D of the 3DS was always optional, and I basically never used it after the first 6 months or whatever.
but like
6
go
days.
look at later 3DS releases, and most of them say like does not support 3D. Like the
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi games that I purchased all say that on the cover. The Pokemon games didn't have 3, because they were using the processing power to push the game. So, like, to your point, that is a feature that got seriously downgraded in a post 2DS world.
Ironically, when the new 3DS could handle it so much better.
Much better.
So go figure.
Which had a feature of this is what makes the 3D better. Also, no more 3D.
But I mean, so not only that, but that's why like the Switch Pro is kind of a funny idea, because it's just going to be the new 3DS all over again. Like, hey, it's much powerful. We'll release like 3 games that really use it, and cool. Like,
yeah, whatever. I mean,
and maybe we'll bring the Virtual Console, but it'll be exclusive to the Switch Pro.
Yeah, I doubt they do.
They want to do exactly what they did with the new 3DS.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean at this point, it's just going to be more games that you have to pay $20 a year for. I don't think they're doing a Virtual Console for this at all, because of the way they set this up.
We'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Sure.
Tiny.
I'll be super quick. So I went to a charity dinner Tuesday night, Monday night, whatever.
Okay, done. Next.
Yeah, it was a golf after a golf tournament. I don't understand why people want to go out in this weather, let alone play 18 holes of golf.
Trying to pass out.
18 rounds.
No, well, they had like 144 players in the tournament. My brother-in-law ended up making like into the putting challenge or whatever. Like 3 people made this 40-yard putt, and like they were going to walk away with money or whatever, and then they did essentially a putt off to figure out who won. So like that was cool. Like I got to go out and see and whatnot, and like the course was beautiful. But yo, it is hot. Why would you ever do this? Aside from that, I've been trying to straighten up my basement, and I realize I think the thing I own the most of is RCA cables for consoles.
Like proprietary ones or just generic ones?
Both. Like I have like 6 sets of
Nintendo,
Super
Nintendo, GameCube,
The ones that
64.
share, then sure. Yeah.
But they all have the S-Video connector on them. Like
That's the best one to have.
Yeah.
So I bought all those, and like how many 360 component or VGA or composite or like why, I don't know. I must have bought them on a weekly basis that I don't remember.
I don't think I have 360 VGA cables.
I do,
but I could use some.
I have
I mean,
one
I could
that I use.
that happen.
Oh, Ben asked if you have any RF switches.
I do. So
I have one.
I
have a
actually
couple.
like have one probably within arm's reach, because I was also trying to get like the Super Nintendos and whatnot, and my sister-in-law gave me, when they moved to Seattle, she gave me a box full of like video game stuff, which half of it ended up being stuff that my brother had borrowed from me.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Do you want any of this stuff? Wait a minute, this is mine.
I've been
Do you want your wallet back? Or
I've been looking for this copy. Like, what's the shooter on N64 that got the sequel on a Wii? That the sequel came out here.
Sin and Punishment.
Sin and Punishment. He had my copy of Sin and Punishment and the adapter. Why my brother, someone who's not a big fan, like enjoys video games, but not like.
You don't need an adapter.
Or you have to rip out the things.
Right. It's called a pair of pliers. Bam, done.
No, I wasn't going to do that. So anyway,
good.
But it had 2 Super Nintendos in there and a Sega Genesis, and they all have RF adapters.
I have a game physics question. Video game physics.
Okay.
How come when you wrap up the cables for video games and put them in a bin, and then when you go back to get a cable, they're all entwined with each other, like you didn't really put them in the bag?
You're not wrapping them right.
Is that why?
That's you know what? One of the things I did learn from GameStop, from working at it's over there. I don't feel it. There is a way to wrap that they will not get intertwined with each other.
All right, that's another show. Definitely.
It is a
It's called putting each one individually into a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, I guess.
That's a lot of Ziploc bags, bro.
Sure. It's a lot of cables.
That gray thing back there is just full of cables now. That's all it has in it. Anyway, so
I stripped them off of all of the televisions. Nothing is hooked up. I put all the cables.
No, everything's still hooked up with at least one thing. Anyway,
those are your spare ones.
Those are extra. Anyway, so I've been straightening up the basement, and just trying to make it. It's Ben. part of why I've been cleaning this up is for the swap meet. So we were talking about this before the show, but like, where is it? Who knew I owned Fire Emblem for the GameCube?
Nice.
And this is like a stupid expensive game. I know I own Skies of Arcadia. Alien Hominid for the GameCube. Who knew?
Nice.
Game is impossible.
The thing, so part of what was driving this was I wanted to play Paper Mario. Still have no idea where that copy of that is.
I have that.
Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, on the GameCube. So I've been straightening it up, trying to, because I am working on, hey, what do I want to bring to that swap meet? And then the last thing, I started watching. This could be me opening a very dark door back in my life. I started watching Warhammer 40K videos of people playing matches. And that led me to looking at the Warhammer website and being like, how much would it be to get back into this hobby of
just buy a copy of Space Marine for $4.99.
I own Space Marine on multiple platforms.
Just buy another one and then you'll be quelled. You don't need to worry about it anymore.
I did start playing a Warhammer game on my iPhone. But like I keep watching these games and like I'm watching painting videos as well, and I'm like, God, I don't know if I really want to get back into painting these things. But like
hiring people to paint them instead?
Oh, 100%. Like yes. But anyway, well, if I go down that road, that'll be a dark road where I should just sell off all my video games and replace everything with little pewter figures. So anyway, so that's
just insure the hell out of everything you own and burn your house to the ground.
That's illegal.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hire someone
to burn your house to the ground.
Mike, you want to make $50? Anyway,
your house burns down tomorrow. I had nothing to do with this.
So that'll be a real shame because I'm not leaving. It still will be cooler than it is outside in my house. So one other thing, just to throw it out there: box copy of Resident Evil 2 on the M64.
I just want the cartridge.
So those have been like, this was my last weekend off for a little while, so I tried to do absolutely nothing, and it was wonderful.
So you're back on the circuit next weekend.
Next weekend is a guild meeting, and I have to go up to Philadelphia. So actually, you know what? I will mention this if anyone wants to go donate. Classic Game Junkie had their Extra Life tip jar stolen, which had a couple $100 in it.
I saw that video, man.
So the dad of the guy who stole the jar brought the kid in, and he got arrested. According to the store owner, he didn't seem very remorseful.
That's a shame.
So we'll see what's going there. Don't go into the comments. Like, a lot of the people are very nice people.
Oh, I already knew. I
some of the other people are like,
scrolled down.
One person's like, "Oh, this is why you need a gun behind the counter." Like, this is like $200. There's no reason.
I'm pretty sure shooting someone in the face is not. Yeah,
there's no reason. Yeah,
I knew not to scroll down. I was like, nope.
Or my favorite is, well, this person should have to do community service at the hospital. Like, yeah, no, they 100% are like, cool. You committed a crime. Please come to our children's hospital.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, like the general hope when you see and you hear and you read the story about, the discipline being enacted by the guy's dad. It's like, oh, you think, oh, well, it'll have a happy ending. The guy saying zero remorse is like, oh.
Well, let's also put it this way.
Right.
I called him a kid. He's over 18. So not actually like a kid.
Well, but to kind of move forward and turn the page, I had heard that a lot of people had donated because of the video.
I was going to say, yeah, I was about to check. The last time I looked, they were over $700 raised.
So I mean, it's there's
definitely a silver,
silver lining, sure.
So, but I'll probably be stopping there on Saturday, which is supposed to be the hottest day of the week.
Up at Classic Game Junkie?
Yeah, I'll probably stop by there after our guild meeting up at the hospital.
Oh, okay.
8:25 there right now. So, but yeah, so that's done. But and with that, that's those are, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna read this email from Javon real quick. He says, "Hey crew, what's up? How's everything going? I'm calling with a topic close to all of our hearts. I'm in the process of buying a home for the family. The whole process has been crazy, but I know it'll be worth it to give my boys a backyard. When we went to see since the home, my wife looked at the office near the front door and said, 'Babe, this has to be your game room.' Ever since that day, we've been throwing around ideas for how to make the best game room possible. So this leads me to my question. Do you have a dedicated game space? What is your quote-unquote showstopper piece in your game room? Any tips or tricks for making a functional and affordable game room? Thanks for the great content, Javon." So, Slider, as someone who has ramped up their collecting by like 1,000%, what tips would you give? Like, and also, what is your showstopper in your collection?
Wow, I don't have showstoppers. I just have things that I really like or I wanted when I was a kid that I never had, and I would pick up. So like, I have like real quirky things. I guess the one showstopper thing I probably would say I have is I have the Tron arcade marquee, at the top of the cabinet.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I got it autographed by Bruce Boxleitner.
Yeah,
That was
right.
cool. I got to meet him.
What Jeff Bridges?
I have a Jeff Bridges autograph, but it's not on the marquee.
Okay.
All right.
So I have like a good little Tron shrine. Also, just something that I really wanted. It was an Atari 2600 game based on the movie Krull. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Oh, yeah, I
Krull's
love
an
Krull.
amazing movie.
So yeah, I love
I
that
had the
movie.
game back in the day.
And when I was a kid, my friend had it at his house, and I played it, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" But I never had a 2600 when I was a kid. I had an Intellivision. So the local game store had a one complete in the box for $20, so I picked that up.
Yeah.
In my collection.
How's the box art? I mean, I've never seen the box art for the game.
I'll
it's right from the movie, if memory serves.
Like, is it similar to like the movie poster or something like that?
No, it's actually not. They did a good job with the box art though, but it's one of the silver box art 2600 games because it's more of a newer, end of the road game.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, all right, it's not bad. Not bad.
I showed the girls the movie last summer, and they really liked it.
Yeah, it's a fun.
First movie?
The only Krull.
There's only one.
Only one Krull.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Tron.
Oh,
yeah.
And I'm like, Tron's fun, but like, there's like an hour and a half that could probably be cut from that movie.
Yeah, it's kind of rough these days.
The sequel wasn't all that great either.
That's why
No, but it still had some good.
No, it
stuff.
wasn't bad. It just I was like, oh, okay, all right.
But yeah, when in Krull, when that guy's eyes turned dark,
Oh.
in the
the old man. Like
yeah, that freaked me out.
I had to warn them about that part because
the thing that creeped me out was the spider with the widow and all that.
I gotta watch that movie again.
I mean, special effects not so much, but
sure.
It holds up though. I mean, it's funny. I had a discussion with the girls in the car about like the Cyclops because we already liked the Cyclops in the movie.
Yeah, he's great.
And my 9-year-old, I forgot she made some like really poignant point about like, the fact that like they gave up one of their eyes to see the future, not realizing that would they really only see their own death.
Yeah.
I forgot. I gotta ask her what she said because it was something we were forgetting, and she was like, and she brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, they really liked it. They dug it.
Yeah, and that's like Liam Neeson's first movie.
And Robbie Coltrane is in that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that again. I have it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Looking through my collection, it's like I know it's there. I don't.
We just felt bad for the Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like feelings in that movie for like an old sci-fi drama.
And they got like top talent. They got H.R. Geiger who designed the Beast creature. They just have a lot of quality people putting that movie together. Considering there was no computer graphics back then, it was all traditional effects.
People got killed. Like a lot of those guys that went into that castle, they did not make it out. Like,
Yeah,
Wow. The cover, my Blu-ray cover of the thing looks like the artwork was put together using MS Paint. It looks abysmal.
Yeah, that I have that Blu-ray, and the packaging's kind of janky,
But they made sure to put Liam Neeson's face on the back of the box.
right.
well, but like you do, you know. Anyway,
Yeah, what else is in my collection? My Intellivision, my original, Intellivision with Masters of the Universe cartridge. I love that game. If you ever played that for the Intellivision, it's a great game.
I only played the Atari version.
Oh yeah, not as great.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll talk about my games room more once I get it finished. I'll have more to say because right now it's kind of a nebulous blob of stuff. But it's getting there. It's fun to put together. And you really can, if you're buying really old games, you can put together a good collection for not that much money.
It depends on what you want, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't care if it's in the box or not, like I don't care
I don't.
if it's in the box. I just rather have the game to plug it in and play it. Just as long as the stickers are decent, and they don't even have to be perfect, just so you can read them. Then,
I mean, I definitely think if you're looking at like Intellivision and Atari, like that's definitely true for them.
yeah,
As long as you're not looking for like those handful of games that were sold like door to door by so and so, or like River Raid 2 or some crazy
Avon edition.
Yeah, like if you're just looking for regular old Atari games at this point, no problem. Cheap as
yeah. I'm like not at that level of the collecting. Where I have to get the stadium. What is that called?
stadium events.
Game events.
Yeah, I don't need that or Little Samson. I just because they don't interest me. Like I'm not gonna plug that in and play it.
No.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, Javon, I would say I don't really have anything that like stands out really. All that. I mean, like I have like the Pit Boy thing. I have the Sonic Mania collector's edition. So it's a huge Sonic on a shelf. People often see that, but I don't know.
The IQ.
Okay, I do have the Nintendo. I do have the IQ, which is the
The Panasonic IQ?
No, not the GameCube.
Oh, I wish I had a
Oh,
Panasonic Cube.
No,
I have the Chinese
the Chinese IQ
N64 in a controller, but that's like on the bottom shelf. But I do own it.
But didn't you say it was broken or something?
Like something.
It works.
One of my guildmates thinks it's funny that like when he sees me buy N64 games, he's like, "You're probably never going to play this." I'm like, "Yes, I probably won't." Aaron will never play the IQ. That will never be anything.
Wait, you said
I bought the adapter for it. I have everything for it. I just haven't bothered to try it yet.
Never play the IQ.
Well, just because you said that, I'm going to play it.
Never play it.
Just to spite you.
Never put a video up about it. He'll never do that.
And Aaron, don't you have a very rare copy photo of Sean Connery autographed by Roger Moore?
Yeah, but George Lazenby's elbow was also in it, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the big thing is you just got to decide how you want to. So, like, for example, does it make sense to have two CRTs, which, like I do behind me? Or do you want
in case you need to have two running at the same time.
Do you want to go, well, or you could go with like a Retron 5 or whatever, and you don't need to have an old system for.
Well, as long as you only want to play legitimately released games.
Oh, yeah. No, because the Retron 5 can never play anything else.
Well, no, I like homebrews and stuff, like new release cartridges. Like it just goes, I don't know what that is. Screw off.
That's what mine does.
Again, we could never modify the whitelist for it or anything. No, it's never possible.
That's called effort, man.
Yes. I'm sorry. Let me start here. Fine, you're going to have to decide if you want to put any effort in or not.
Have you put different firmware on your Retron 5?
I mean, not on mine because I exploded mine when I plugged the wrong power adapter into it.
Oh.
But before that, yes, I had been playing around with that.
I might have a spare Retron 5 I could send you.
I need to do that.
We'll talk.
Okay.
Well, I think more to Tiny's point, Javon, like if you decide, like if you want to do retro stuff, you might want to maybe set things up so even if you're not going to jump into retro, you could still make that an option.
You have to decide what's important to you. Like the reason that you want to have the CRTs is if you really want to play light gun games, and there will be solutions to fix that in the future.
It's out now. I saw it at the game.
Oh, but apparently it only works with Duck Hunt.
Right?
Yep.
Like,
and they'll sell different versions if you want to use it for Hogan's Alley.
Hopefully, that will be
that's
a
not
better
worth
solution.
It only works what? I didn't.
There's got to be something better than that.
The one that's coming from
Hyperkin.
Hyperkin, thank you. Yeah, only works with Duck Hunt. At least right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it at too many games. Going, all right, keep going.
So, like, if that is something you really like, if those kind of games, then yeah, you like want to look at a CRT. But if like you want to be able to play like Mario and whatnot, my brother actually texted me a picture this weekend. Him and his wife were playing on the Wii, and they were playing Mario and Mario Kart and all that stuff, like N64 Mario Kart and all that. Like, and that's a perfectly good, reasonable facsimile for them. Like, it's not frame perfect, but it works exactly for how much they want to play, and you just have to decide what level of importance is that to you. Because you could be a crazy person and be like, I need to own all 296 N64 games. Like, don't do that, because that's just another person I'm competing with. But like,
It's all about you.
You have to make I need to find Clay Fighter. You just have to make that choice for yours. Like that's the big thing. Like showstoppers, I have stupid statue. I have that Titanfall statue from the first Titanfall Collector's Edition.
I mean, as far as junk goes, that's pretty good.
I have the Halo Reach statue thingy.
I had the Injustice statue, and my cat pushed it off the top of the bookcase.
Oh, that sucks.
I was just like, I give up.
This cyborg statue that's in the background has had a real rough life. He's fallen like 4 or 5 times. He barely stands up anymore. So, but I mean, if that's the kind of tchotchke stuff, the big thing is all this stuff's in my basement. Like, if you walk into my house, the only gaming thing that's on my first floor is I have a framed signed poster from Transistor from the development team, and you wouldn't know. Like, it just looks like some kind of like anime whatever thing on the wall. Like, it's a nice picture. Like, you wouldn't know it was gaming related. So, like, you just have to decide how you want to present your hobby to people as they enter your house. So,
sure.
So yeah, because I mean, these guys have all been to my house. Once you come downstairs, it's a very different.
Yeah, my house, I don't have a basement, so my stuff is just there's no hiding it. It's just bam, there you go.
And again, for all of you that are married, which is everyone else on this, that probably works. Like, hey, they already knew how much of a geek you were. But it's introduce.
Like, there is no receipt. More to Tiny's point.
You don't need to start like, oh yeah, hey, I host a gaming podcast and whatnot. How are you doing? No, like introducing as part of you.
That drawer is full of dice. How are you doing?
Oh, you know what? One thing I will just on the dumb, like looking at stuff I have that's expensive. I have an inaugural pair of dice from PAX Unplugged from 2017. I think I looked on the last sold listing for it, $500 for 3 dice.
Wow.
You should sell that and power up your N64 collection.
So we'll see. It's something to look at. Like, I was looking at, there's only like, it has some number on it that's, let's say it's more rare than my car was, which was only one of 1,500. So, but anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Like, the big thing is you have to make a decision on what direction you want to go. If you're going to go retro, CRT is probably nice, but depending on how deep you want to go is the question if that's really a requirement or not.
Yeah, and if you do
If
want
you
to,
have the spot for it, don't not do a CRT if you care about old stuff.
So I mean,
Basically free. I got a really nice Samsung flat screen, has all the component, S video, everything free. It just find them. Just keep looking at listings.
There was a nice listing the other day, though it was in this guy's basement, and he's like, "It's free. You just have to move it." It's like 200.
That's usually what it is. If
200 pounds, and like he told you how many stairs he had because he's like, that's how annoying this is going to be to get out.
Right. And that's good.
You're missing a kidney and you're in a bathtub full of ice. So.
No. People
you
want this.
Go with a friend. Like you go.
Right.
You don't go alone.
It first, kid. Like, you know what? No.
So,
no.
But if that's it's that question of like, what are you looking to do? If you want to hook everything up so you can stream, like you want to run some cable, like your cables before you put everything up, so that you know where you're gonna.
No matter what, think about what you want to do and plan before you start putting anything down. If you're moving into the house, like if you like, I need to run some Cat 5 or 6 or whatever, or if you want to run
do it all,
an Ethernet, like whatever it is, stare at stuff and start envisioning where it's going to go.
Yep.
Because once everything's in place, it's a lot harder to start running lines or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could find good stuff on like the app like Let Go. Have you guys ever tried?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've personally had better success in the last couple of years with Facebook Marketplace than anything.
I heard that's good too.
Yeah. I mean, or just go to IKEA and like buy the cheapest shelves. They're fine. Like if you want to repaint them, go for it. But like,
well, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. If you're putting serious weight on something, make sure it can handle it. Like
understood, but their media shelves are going to be fine for.
Yeah, they are.
I watched. I don't remember who. I could probably look it up, but somebody's YouTube video who was like pretty. Like they had a bunch of videos. It wasn't like somebody put up the first video or whatever. And behind them was a shelf of PC Engine games, and every one of those shelves sagged like a banana.
It was bowing.
I was like, dude, like you've got thousands upon thousands of dollars of stuff right behind you. Protect it a little bit better than that, please.
I will say that the small ass media shelf I didn't get from IKEA that has like my 3DS and stuff on it. Yo, there's some sag there now.
Yeah, I mean, if it's
I got
minimal weight and it's just warping or whatever, one thing. But it's like if it's sagging because it cannot support the weight that you're putting on it, then don't do that.
Also, be mindful of if you have cats and they
they'll be interested in whatever you're doing.
Just get rid of them.
No.
Just make sure the cables are cat proof from chewing, because I've ran into problems with that.
Some cats care and some cats don't. If you know your cat cares, split loom is what I've seen where like my cats have never given a crap about any of the cables. Not after 6 months. You know, kittens will chew anything. Don't worry about that. But some relatives have had really good success with split loom, protective plastic stuff over everything. They've got cats that want to chew any cable that's there, so they put the split loom over everything, and then they don't have the problem.
Yeah, I'll look into that, because I have one cat that's just an anti-gamer.
You're not playing this thing.
Be like, you're not giving me attention, so I'm going to eat whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys. After 11, we got to keep this thing moving. All right, games we played. Slider.
Yeah, I'll keep mine short because I haven't really played too many games the last few months, but I've been messing around with the Xbox One, and then just installing is a full-time job with that Game Pass. And then also
But when you install the new games, you have to delete other games that you never played either at the same time to make room.
Well, I bought the 4 terabyte external hard drive.
All right, that eliminates one step of the game.
Yep. So I've been playing Injustice 2 a lot. I love the Injustice series. I picked up the Legendary Edition for Xbox One, and it has all the DLC. I think well, not all, but most of the good DLC. Uh, it has a great story. Injustice 1 is like one of the best stories for a comic book video game.
Sure, it was good. I enjoyed playing through it when I got my free copy on PS4 through PS Plus.
Cool. Yes.
And it is a better told story than Capcom versus
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Oh, right.
Which is a passable thing.
Yeah, it was a fun story and interesting, but this was like took the DC universe to a whole new level. I mean, they even spun off a comic from the video game. So
sure.
I've been playing a little Mass Effect Andromeda. That's a really beautiful looking game, in my opinion. I'm early into it, but it's been a lot of fun. I picked up this little Japanese handheld thingy because I love handhelds, and this is the LDK Pocket. And I just installed the I don't know if it boots up quick enough, the retro skin for it.
Nice. Other are shoulder buttons on it too, right?
Yeah, they're shoulder buttons. Okay. I have to figure out how to actually get games into it, but I got the retro shell.
Throw them pretty hard.
So now it's just a matter of putting my legit ROMs of the games I own onto this.
Yes, of the games you own.
Yes, I will only do that.
Yes.
But it's a really nice build quality. I mean, I would say it's worth, the $50 or whatever it cost. I think I got it off of Wish. But you got to make sure you're getting the legit LDK Pocket. But it's really nicely built. It can run a ton of emulators. And it's actually, even though it's small, it's still comfortable. It's sort of like a lopped off Game Boy. What is it? The Game Boy, not Light, but the
Pocket.
The Pocket, yeah. It's fatter than the Pocket, but it's just like the same width, I would say. So, yeah, it's really cool. And what else do I have in? So I talked about the Switch Lite that I'm looking forward to purchasing, and that's about it.
All right.
Sorry, I just don't have. I'm not really a great game reviewer. I'm just I play the game, I like it. I play the game, I don't like it. I wish I had that talent to really delve deep into reviewing
thumbs up,
the game.
Thumbs down.
I'm sorry?
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
You know what you like. I mean, that's.
I'm the school of thumbs up and thumbs down.
What more do you need?
So thumbs up for basically everything I've been goofing around with lately.
All right, Mike, how about you?
So, other than stuff I've played a million times before, one of the things I picked up at Too Many Games was a copy. I think did I talk about this last week? I may have. Turtles 2 from Back from the Sewers.
Yes,
I probably did. Yeah, that was terrible. I tried out Big Crown Showdown, which is one of the games with gold games, starting July 16th. So yesterday, but it was actually available to download the 15th. It looks like a game with some potential, like it is a battle your friends to get the best score to get to the end of the thing. But the one game that I played online, the net code was not good at all. One of the key things is you can punch your. I guess there's sort of like opponents. It's like 4 people are in, and you're trying to be better than them. So I guess it's not co-op at all. Like you're trying to beat them, but you can punch your fellow knights, but if they hold up a shield and you punch them, then you get knocked back instead of them, and there's like edges to fall off all the time.
Gotcha.
But like because there was so much lag on the internet, it just like it didn't work out well. But I will try it again, and if it works out better than the first time, then it could. I mean, it's a silly game. Like you get through some obstacles, you punch these big chests, some gold coins fall out, and you try to pick them up before the other people do. It's not much more to it than that. I mean, it's a game that originally was only $13, so free from that is like, yeah, you shouldn't expect some kind of AAA title or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, I mean, game related, but not actually playing. I've still been working on some things for that arcade cabinet that I'm putting together. I wound up buying lighter touch micro switches for the joysticks that I have, which I determined the best price was going to be directly from Micro Center, and Micro Center just has off the shelf Zippy and Cherry micro switches, which are a little bit more expensive than over the internet, but there's no shipping costs. So if you're not buying a metric ton of micro switches and you have a Micro Center near you, probably a little bit cheaper.
So you're building a full-size cabinet, like an arcade, or is it like the desktop?
No, so I friend of the show Ben gave me an arcade cabinet shell, not like a real from an arcade game shell. It's like one of these ones made by some company that you put together, but it's intended to house a CRT. So I got the TV for free from Facebook Marketplace that I'm using to power everything. I'm using an original Xbox with coin ops for all of the like powering all the games, but working on the control console setup. I've got I had built something a long time ago which Tiny had housed for me for years, thankfully, and I'm actually making use out of it because like I finally decided I don't care if it's a little bit ugly. It's a lot less work than building a brand new one. So what I'm going to do is add a couple of buttons to that. The brains of the whole thing are made from the PCB that powers the X Arcade, and I need to lengthen some of the wires, and by that I mean splicing and soldering and heat shrink tubing and all that stuff. But I need to add a couple of buttons because I only had 6 operational buttons, and with the Xbox controller there's 8,
right?
Plus the start or the back and what is it? Back and start? I don't know. Whatever they called them back then.
Yeah, it was back and start. Yeah.
Okay. So I need to drill a couple more holes, add some new buttons, which I have everything now. I've got some very light switch micro, not just micro leaf switches. So they're like kind of almost sort of leaf switches. And it's just like I'm trying to eliminate the clicks as best I can. Once all that's done, I need to work up the audio system. And the thing that I discovered today is that if you use car audio speakers, they run at a lower OHN. I don't even know what that stands for. Ohms? Whatever. Like car speakers run typically at a 4, and home speakers typically run at an 8. And if you mix that with what's powering, you need like an amplifier. Like I was like, look, all I wanted to do was use an old receiver that I have in the house that I'm not using for anything else. So I need to really get some 8 ohm speakers.
Yeah, you better.
To work with that. And I also want to make sure that they're shielded because I'm actually using a CRT. So as I've mentioned before, this is not going to be a next week I'm going to tell you, hey, everything's great. It's going to be amazing. I'm playing arcade games every day, whatever. This is going to take some time, but a little bit here, a little bit there.
I mean, I'm gonna be more impressed when you bring it down to Extra Life.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, you're coming here. That's how you're going to see it. It's not going anywhere.
When you put it into your car,
No. This, I mean, like, I may have to move it around a little bit, a few feet here and there, but I am not. This is not a modular thing. Once it's up, it is done.
Mike, I'm just saying, 50
It's load
bucks,
bearing.
put this
Right?
in your pocket, and you're good to go.
Great. I'll purchase one of those, and as I'm walking out the door, I'll drop it into the garbage can on my way to the
I
car.
was gonna say you could just have that Game Boy thing I bought a couple months ago.
Yeah.
It's been sitting in a drawer. So
This runs arcade ROMs.
Oh,
yeah.
Believe me, a lot of things run arcade ROM.
I got the Bit Boy, and
Yeah.
Oh, this thing blows the BitBoy away.
There's been so many of those things. It's hard to even keep up. Like every day there's a new one.
Right. Yeah. But I'm hoping in the end, like I've already bought multiple items that I'm like, I'm not sure I'm actually going to use this particular item, but I have as an option some 4-way / 8-way joysticks that are swappable with the turn of a little gear at the bottom of the stick. So I'm thinking ahead. I got some ideas for what I want to be ultimately out of this, and I've got some in my mind, but I need to tweak it more. Designed for some pretty excellent cup holders. Like the whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot left to do. Anyway, I'm done. Aaron, what have you been playing?
Playing some Redeemer on the Switch. I played it on Steam last year, I think. It's a top-down action game. I mean, remember like how you could was it the Batman Arkham games? You could block and kind of chain things together. It's more simple than that, but I don't know. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. I like how it is top down, but one thing it does is really cool is when you defeat like a bigger enemy, not a boss, like a bigger enemy, because you work harder to defeat it. If you beat up the bigger enemy enough, they let you like just do this execution move where you like rip their throat out or break their neck or snap their back in half. It's really cool. It's family friendly. No, but it's different. Like most games, like you fight the tougher enemy and you just beat it and you get to walk away. This game's like, no, you took the time to fight this enemy that's tougher. So we're gonna let you, get like not a glory kill, but do something a little extra, which I appreciate. So that's real cool. It's perfect for the Switch. It's just a lot of fun. You can pick up guns, and of course, all the guns have like no more than 6 or 8 bullets in them. But and there's always objects in the environment that if you get an enemy near, you can just hit one button. At least on regular enemies, like there'll be these trees with just one branch sticking out. So if an enemy comes close to it, little icon appears above their head. You can pick them up and just impale them on it. So there's always like an oven going or some fire in the middle of someone's house. Like you do.
yeah,
And exactly. It's just common sense. Eagle Island. We've probably seen this game at I don't know how many conventions for many, many years. I never actually played it until today. I don't know how tough it is either. Eagle Island is pretty dope though. It's a action platformer. I started on casual because I already saw some things about people like, oh, it's really tough. It's it pulls no punches. But basically, like you have these 2 birds. This huge eagle kidnaps one of them, and then you get like the power to like kind of. It's like you're kind of throwing the bird at enemies and stuff. You kind of just
baseball pitching that bird.
Kinda.
The bird at enemies,
You said you throwing it?
flipping it.
Now you're not flipping it, but you're definitely throwing it. So
It's like Maria in Dracula X.
yeah, good point.
She just throws birds at the enemies, and then they
Think
come
about that.
back, and everybody's fine.
It's just the timing is weird because if you throw the bird and you hit the button to throw it again, the bird like comes back to you faster, and then you throw it. So you kind of have to learn like how the timing works of how you can Once you press the button, it gets back to you as quickly as possible. But it's not like as soon as you hit it again, you instantly throw it. You have to wait till it comes back and then you throw it again. But I just started it. It's also the levels are procedurally generated as well, and you can like play different seeds, and you get the number for the seed that you like. If you like the certain seed, you can replay it or whatever. So honestly, it's pretty cool. Play a little bit of Lost Orbit Terminal Velocity. I played that on the 360 or the Xbox One. One of them. Maybe it's the Vita. I don't play it on something where like you're like this little guy like in space, and you want to basically go through like asteroids and things, and you can circle around these little planetoids as fast as possible. You just want to maneuver through the environment as fast as possible and get to the end. Seems pretty cool. Play a little Sonic Mania, which I honestly had never even played until like the other day, even though I got the collector's edition on Steam. I'm looking at Sonic right now. I installed it on my PC, never played it. Then of course I see that Target had the digital code for the Switch for like $10.
Don't think about it, Mike. Mike, don't think about it too hard.
So yeah,
I mean, it's free on PS Plus.
yeah, it is.
It was last month, I guess.
But now I can pretend to play it on the go.
Well, I mean,
I have 3 versions of it.
I can hear Mike's brain turning right now.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I completely forgot that it was on PS4. But if I was going to play that version, which I did download, or got a credit for in my account for PS4.
Isn't it also on Game Pass?
It might be.
probably. Yeah.
But I always wanted it on Switch.
So you can play it on any system you want now.
Yep.
Like literally.
For the total price of like $50 which includes the collector's edition. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Anyway,
With Sonic standing on a Genesis.
Right.
Yes.
A non-functioning Genesis.
A non-functioning Genesis. I also play some Power.
Wait a minute. How much did you play? Did you accomplish anything in this game?
Okay, I got to. Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna guess. Did you get to level 3 and you hated the water part of that level?
No, I got to the the levels, like the 3D levels where you collect.
Those are terrible.
The bonus levels?
The
Yes.
bonus level, I thought it would end. It kept going.
It does. You can complete it.
I didn't know how to get to the end. I was like, what?
You gotta just keep going and jumping and never hit a red ball. It's stupid.
I didn't understand. Everything was going great until then.
The controls suck on that, but
I wasn't even the control. I'm used to those things. I'm used to failing instantly and then getting to the rest of the game. That didn't happen.
You didn't turn a whole lot if you didn't think the controls sucked.
Oh, yeah, I did hit the wall a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
okay. So wait,
like every tap is a 90-degree turn.
Getting to a bonus level doesn't tell us actually how far you got, though.
Right.
I got to the first bonus stage and could not figure out how to get out
played
of the bonus
A-level.
stage.
Played A level.
Rage quit. This game that you own 5 copies of.
Annoyance quit.
All right, go ahead.
We're splitting hairs.
Just to be clear, is this is just the base game or the game with the DLC or with the Sonic Plus or whatever?
Oh, good question. I think it's just the base.
Gotcha.
So
No trouble.
You didn't even buy the full like.
No treble.
yeah. So I played some Power Rumi. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I think it's a Brazilian team. It's a vertical shooter, but it has a mechanic where, like I gotta look at the button. I'm gonna say the Xbox buttons. Y, B, and A are like a green projectile, a blue projectile, and a red projectile, and shooting different enemies with the different color projectiles can like either like refill certain meters. You can kill enemies faster. So the UI is interesting. The game is kind of cool. I like it. It's just the way they're presenting how I switch doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Shout out to Kettle Green in the chat. Yeah, it's cool. I'm just, something about it just hasn't quite clicked with me, but I got to the first boss, it blew up, so I feel like I did the right thing. I also played some Rise Race the Future on Switch. It's a racing game with your traction is horrible. Maybe just because like you're just starting it and you have to like build your way up. But so far, like I can't really turn without like sliding off the road. Not off it, but like just crashing into the side. So we have to work on that. And the games that I wanted to play didn't have time to were 8 Minute Empire, which doesn't come out for a little while on the Switch, but it's also available on. It's a board game. It's a tabletop game that they have a mobile conversion of, and then they're putting it out on the Switch. And then they just sent me a key for Tiny Metal Full Metal Rumble out of like nowhere, so I need to play that too. So yeah, that's it for me.
Gotcha.
Tiny.
So yeah, I'll go through mine real quick. Hey guys, I played this great game. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Luigi's Mansion.
Who now?
Luigi's Mansion. I hooked up my GameCube.
Hotel Mario. What?
And like I said earlier, I wanted to play Paper Mario, but I couldn't find it.
So you picked a better game.
So I played Luigi's Mansion. Well, I had the component cables and whatnot. I wanted to use them because I should justify owning them. And I played through that whole game over Saturday, Sunday. So Luigi's Mansion is a great game. Like, I'm now going to probably play the second game that's on 3DS. So that
I have a question.
Go for it.
How can a plumber afford a mansion?
Okay, so it's important to know.
A really good plumber.
Luigi didn't afford the mansion. He wins the mansion at the beginning of the game.
You know, he
Also,
wins.
is it ever established that Luigi is a plumber?
I mean, I think there's media to support both Luigi and Mario being plumbers.
Yeah, they are plumbers.
Media? By that, do you mean like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
I'm going to say I'm including that, but I would also think like the manual.
And also Mario.
The lies.
Captain Lou Albano's a saint.
So, but anyway, Paper Mario is missing. Great revival idea. No Scoop Moose. No.
It can't be worse than Mario was missing, though, can it?
I mean, yes.
Could it, though?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it could.
Also, the original Luigi Mansion is available on the 3DS.
It is, which I also own.
Yeah, me too.
So, anyway, don't have to talk about that right now. Because that's actually where they introduced Gooigi, right? Like, I think there's a...
Oh, is it really?
In Luigi's Mansion 1 on 3DS, I believe there's a multiplayer mode where the other Luigis are the green Luigi. Anyway, whatever. Luigi's Mansion's great. Like, you should go back and play that game either on 3DS or GameCube, or if you have a Wii, you can play it backwards compatible there.
I have it on 3DS, so I'll check it out.
It's a lot of fun. Like, you go through, he's essentially a Ghostbuster. You're sucking this up. You're getting all this money. By the end, my Luigi had like $10 million. So, he was rich.
He could buy another mansion.
He actually does buy another mansion at the end of the game, unlike his freeloading brother. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you never see Mario making wise investments.
So Luigi kills dead people and then steals their money, right?
I mean, he doesn't kill dead people. He captures them and then has them put into paintings to be hung in the mansion.
Wow, that's creepy as hell.
Now remember, all of this is via the Professor Egad, and you're able to navigate all this via your Game Boy Horror.
Yep. Which changed to a DS.
I forget what the 3DS one. I have to go back. But also you have the Poltergust, which is the vacuum on your back that sucks in ghosts.
Wow, what a pun!
I mean, what's interesting, like most of the rooms have like a themed ghost in them and whatnot. But then at like halfway through the game, all the boos show up, and like you have to also capture 50 boos. And then like I'm going to spoil this. Sorry for Luigi and Mansion spoilers. You face off against King Boo, but he's dressed up like Bowser in a Bowser costume, because at one point you knock the head backwards so he can't see. And that boss battle, man, took me a little while. So, probably like 2 hours. So, but yeah, if you have a chance, play it on 3DS or on GameCube. Other than that, I also played Blazing Chrome, which is a Contra.
Play that.
It's on Game Pass. So
I did. I also played a little bit of that.
You only have to go out and buy like 3 other copies, Aaron.
Hey.
I joke because I see myself in the situation.
I forgot
And
I
I
got it on
almost
PS4.
bought it for the
What if-
Switch, but it turned out I was 50 cents short on my account. And by the time I realized, or like, I was going to
I
buy
thought that was Mike J's story. I'm now realizing no, that was
that was me.
you on the
And I was like, oh, great. It's free on Game Pass, which I already pay for.
right. So this is definitely a love letter to Contra Hardcore. Like you should go and play it. Like I played through the first 2 levels.
Yeah, I mean, it's I see it more as Contra 3 because I played more of that, but the one thing it's missing is the thing where you can
The
jump up
top-down
and
part.
down while shooting multiple guns at the same time.
That's true.
Contra 3 had pretty much everything else though is intact.
I mean, but it doesn't have like the top-down stuff either from Contra because that's
That's fair. I mean, I played 3 levels of it and I didn't see any of that.
So, but like, if you have Game Pass, you definitely should play because you're already paying for it. But I would like to probably get this on Switch when it's on sale. It's the one thing I guess to say is there's only 4 levels. Like it's tough. Like I continued.
There's
Oh,
4
really?
levels?
Sorry.
There's only
I
4
got 3
worlds or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Well, so there's a 4th end one, but I don't think that counts as like a full one, I believe. But there's also unlockable characters you can play through it as afterwards, and yeah, it's a really impressive game from a developer. I think this was their first game out of Brazil.
That impresses me more.
It was like I mean, you think about the other Contra games that have come out that have not captured the spirit, let's say, of Contra.
Right.
Even we'll see what this new one is going to be like, and then
That does look awful.
we'll see. And then the other stuff, I was looking for my PS TV, the puck, not the monitor. And because I listened to Retronauts, I think last week they had a Final Fantasy Tactics show, and that made me want to go back and like start that game again. I'm going to start it and not finish it. But hey, my phone decided to start paying attention to me.
I said, what? You're not going to finish a game?
Not going to finish the
Listen to
game.
what you're going to say.
Not acceptable. So, but anyway, so I started playing Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, which is technically the PSP version of that game.
Oh, yeah.
But since the PlayStation TV can play PSP games, like that's fine. It has the better translation and a bunch of bug fixes.
But it is the same game. It's not.
Oh, yeah,
not
no,
like
it's
a sequel or something.
And the funny thing I was trying to think of is like even that re-release of it is like 13 years old now. So
Yeah, PSP is not new.
So, but and then the last thing, Legend of Dragoon, I started playing a Sony developed RPG from back in the day. It has a timing component to its battle system that makes it super tough to play nowadays. But we'll see if I continue with it. So yeah, so that's about all I've been playing. So
All right. It's getting late here. It is dusk.
Sure.
I'm gonna wrap this up. Sliderway, shout outs, plugs, all those wonderful things, good sir.
I don't know. If you guys need T-shirts, I have all this T-shirt making equipment around.
I need to get myself together and get on that at some point. Yeah.
I do owe you guys some T-shirts, GameEnthus T-shirts. I can do them now. I have all the equipment. So
in your warehouse.
In your warehouse.
Well, it's not my warehouse, but I'm in a warehouse. I have an office in the warehouse.
Are there tacos in that warehouse?
There are no tacos.
Okay. Are
But
there Whoppers?
there's lots of T-shirt making equipment.
Not edible, but
Wrap it around some ground beef and call it a taco.
And a pachinko machine.
is there
There's bottled
lettuce?
water. There's lots of bottled water.
That's a start. Of what I don't know, but that's a start.
Yeah, so I guess my only plug is I should be having a T-shirt brand coming out soon.
Oh, good stuff.
Cool. Keep us
Excellent.
posted.
I will. And definitely, I just need you guys to text me your T-shirt requests, or message me on Twitter.
Will do.
Tuxedo. I have a wedding in 2 weeks, so
I can't make tuxedos, but I can apply graphics to
I was
it.
gonna say a tuxedo T-shirt though. Like I'm not looking for a tuxedo. I'm looking.
Oh, that's no problem. I can bang one of those out.
I'm also looking to never talk to my family again. Is really what I guess I'm saying.
That's a whole nother topic.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But anyone else who wants to purchase a T-shirt from me, they can message me on Twitter. But these guys are getting free ones, so
We got the hookup.
thank you, buddy.
Damn it. All right. Well, thank
it
you,
will
sir.
eventually happen. It will happen.
All right.
I will do my part and just send you like
Send me
information.
the requests. Like it'll say GameEnthus crew or something like that.
Gotcha. Well, appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very
GameEnthus
much.
employee. Got it. Perfect.
GameEnthus employee.
GameEnthus 401k.
Employee indicates getting paid.
Yes.
Well,
Does it now?
I've been meaning to talk about that with you guys.
Yeah, if you're employed. Anyway,
Yeah. Mike.
Of course, I encourage anyone who's eligible to donate blood, and if you have pets, to have them spayed or neutered. And that's really about it. I guess we should plug our come see our table at the game.
I mean, it's
swap.
like 2 months away, so
Hey, whatever. Get your wallets ready. Come buy some GameEnthus crap so that we can continue to have GameEnthus money.
What he said.
GameEnthus money?
Yes.
Supposedly, that's the thing.
to clarify, we will be at Too Many Games Game Swap in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, September 19th, I think.
Now, can one who can't make it there get a preview of what's going to be swapped? So if maybe they have gaps to fill in their game collections.
It is Blue Bell and not Blue Balls. Just to
Yes,
be
it is Bluebell. It's
clear.
September 21st. Sorry.
Is that
and
further
yes,
away
Spider.
than the Greater Philadelphia Convention Center?
A little bit. Well, depending on which direction you're riding.
It's further. I thought it was closer.
It's essentially around King of Prussia. Like they're all
Right. It's trivial.
so. Anyway,
4 hours
yes,
later.
Slider. We will happily share with what we will have. So
Photographs of overpriced games that no one's going to want to pay for.
I'm gonna underprice.
Man,
I'm gonna underprice stuff.
giving slashing everything. $2 a piece, all games, no matter what.
Component cables, $150.
Slashing
Yeah.
prices.
It's like I need a separate case so that Tiny can't start discounting my stuff.
Every N64 game will be a Sculptor's Cut edition. $200 a piece.
25 cents a piece, all games.
Are you
Mario
looking,
Yes,
64
Thatcher is
Sculptor's Cut. What?
Tiny, you said you're
Sculptor's
looking for
Cut.
Clay Fighter?
Clay Fighter 63 1/3.
Yeah.
Regular edition.
No, not the regular. I have the regular edition.
Which one are you looking for?
The Sculptor's Cut, the Best Buy only one.
Oh, yeah, I'm out.
Blockbuster.
Or Blockbuster, sorry. Yeah. What did I say?
Give Indiana
Best
Jones.
Best Buy, yeah. I actually, Mike gave me a, I believe, sealed copy.
No, it's not sealed.
Oh, is it not?
Oh, wait a minute. Which game are you talking about?
Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine.
That's not sealed.
Is it not?
No, but
Over there,
the
so I can't see it.
Chronicles of
Chronicles of
You're right.
Riddick for the N64.
Is it
Pridane.
Chronicles
or
of-
whatever?
Of Arden, I was gonna buy that the other day.
No, Pridane Chronicles, something like that.
I have to look.
That was sealed because I never bothered to open it. That I purchased from Cartmart from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, a long time ago.
So I also found this the other day when I was going through stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Broken
That's a
Age.
Sealed
Kickstarter.
copy of The Broken Age includes the documentary inside. So
Nice. All right,
Yeah,
well,
Pridane. Yep.
Slider,
Chronicles of Pridane.
thank you for joining us this week.
No, this is a book. That's not the name of the game. Excuse me. That's that book series. That's the Black Cauldron, the Book of Three, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
That's something else.
We're still thanking Sliderway for his time, though, regardless.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me. I mean, it's an honor when you bring me on the show knowing that you're going to lose many, many viewers, and I appreciate that.
I don't know how we could. I mean, yeah, I don't know how to respond to that because none of that's true. Well, that last part, okay. But yeah, thank you for the listeners, folks who jumped to the chat and are talking to us, and people like Jovan for calling in and sending an email. So appreciate that. And if you want to be like Jovan or like Keon often is, you can always leave us a voicemail at 202-573-7686. Shout out to Brad too, who mentioned hearing Keon on our show, and then Gamertag Radio kind of like blew his mind for a second. So shout out to him for mentioning that. And Keon, for some reason, compared me to Godfrey, which no, Godfrey is a legend. I'm just Aaron. Okay, Godfrey's been podcasting for like 20 years, man. This dude is, yeah, he's on a whole nother level of this podcast thing. But thank you for the compliments, gentlemen. And if you want to leave us an email, you can just email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. And I'm going to stop talking now and let Tiny wrap this up.
Hey, it's Tiny from GameEnthus. I don't know why I launched into my Twitch thing. But you should, it's already July 17th. Why haven't you signed up for Extra Life yet? You should go to extra-life.org, sign up, and raise money for your local Children's Miracle Network Hospital. And if not, you should go to extra-life.org/team/GameEnthus and donate to your favorite GameEnthus personality. We had another team member join the team this week, Mr. Donnie. So, yeah, go donate. 100% of what you donate goes directly to the Children's Hospital of your fundraiser's choice. Like, I'm raising for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Aaron and Mike, are you also doing for John Hopkins in Baltimore?
Yep. As always.
I think Nitro is doing for Children's National in DC, or any of the 170 different children's hospitals across U.S. and Canada. So go check that out. Donate what you can, and help some sick kids. And yeah, we'll be at GameSwap, NJ GamerCons in a week and a half. So I will be there for a day, and then I have a wedding.
I'll be at Otacon volunteering for Extra Life, I think. So yeah.
And if you're in the Philadelphia area, we're doing guild meeting on the 21st. Is it Saturday? Yes. 20th. So yeah, come on out to the hospital, find out what we're doing, the events we're going to, and come volunteer. It'd be great.
All right. I think that's it. Sliderwave, any final words before we get out of here?
No, I don't have any other words other than it was great hanging out with you guys again, and I hope to do it again soon.
Indeed.
Always.
Very cool.
Lord willing, we'll be back next week. I think that's it.
But I'm sure you have real guests to put on, so I'm just saying.
Real guest.
I don't know what that means, but every guest is a real guest, especially Sliderwave.
It's the Aiden Chronicles.
That's the one that I thought you were saying. Yeah, I almost bought that last at too
I
many.
have that.
Yeah, unless
not
something changed or I'm gravely mistaken, you own a sealed copy of that game now.
Huh. I'll have to go.
Which may be worth as much as $200.
I'll have to go look. So
All right. Backstage at the puppet show. All right.
later, all.
We'll be back eventually.
See ya.